everybody, what is going on? This is the second episode of the Global Gang podcast for Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. I am your host today, Anthony JMO. If you guys do not know who I am already, then you're kind of missing out on some amazing content. We will be here gathered today talking about Dokkan. We're going to be discussing the new banners that just released on Global. We're going to be talking about some EZAs, some new featured units, a whole bunch of stuff. So I appreciate you guys joining. I'm also here today joined on the panel with three amazing people, and I will start throwing it to Alec. So Alec, would you please introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I am Alec Hunter, 1982. I am a Dokkan streamer. I've been doing this Twitch thing off and on for 6 years, and I am here to talk about our favorite game. Next up, I think we should throw this over to Tystra.
What is up, dudes? It is Taisha Daisetsu. Yeah. No, no, I am a Dokkan streamer on Twitch, and I am just relatively excited to be here. Trevor, it is your turn.
Yo, what's up, dudes? This is Trevor Ard. Glad to be here. Best podcast on Twitch, guaranteed. 10 out of 10 would bang. We're here to talk about fantastic units coming out soon or out right now, EZAs, stuff like that. Should be super fun, super chill. Glad to have you all here. And we'll get back to you, boy, Anthony, for the host.
All right, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate the introductions. And yeah, guys, like we said before, we are going to be doing this frequently every Tuesday. I want to just throw that out there before we even start getting into what our discussions are going to be about today. So also for anyone tuning in, we appreciate you guys very much for being here, part of the stream. Hopefully you guys enjoy the podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoy what we have to say about what's hot right now on Global. We will be discussing a whole bunch of things. So like I said, stay tuned. Maybe there's something in here that you guys want to know about. And also at the end of this, we didn't do this last week, but we will be doing it this week. At the end of our discussion, we will be holding a small Q&A for anyone in chat. So if you guys have any questions at the end of the stream that you want to ask the panelists, just feel free to ask that. We will let you guys know when we'll be taking any questions from chat. So please do, if you guys have any questions, or maybe if you have questions that you build up over the course of the stream, that would be greatly appreciated. And I think we're just going to go ahead and get started now. Anyone who also hosts the channel and anything like that, obviously I'm going to be ignoring any of that. You guys can still hear the raid alert, but again, guys, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And yeah, so to start off the podcast, we are going to be talking about the banner that literally just dropped yesterday, which is the Dokkan Festival Future Gohan. And there's actually some really good things that we were talking about before the overall stream has been conducted. We actually have a global ticket banner out, and I feel like this is going to be the first thing that I want to touch up on because it is great value. I believe the panel does agree as well. For $8, you can basically get a ticket for a guaranteed SSR, and it comes with a lot of other rewards too, not just, the tickets. You get some training items, potential orbs, a whole bunch of other good stuff as well, awakening medals, things like that. It's good value for your buck. I know that Trevor and Alec were on board with it before stream. But yeah, so in terms of the actual banner, we're going to go ahead and show you what is actually featured on the banners. So obviously we're going to have the Future Gohan and the Tech Trunks. Everyone is already knowing about that. And the interesting twist is, for me anyways, we got In Goku Black and Ultra Instinct Goku. So I thought that was actually really cool. We also got Transforming Buu, we have Super Vegito, and the original Future Gohan from the Physical the Future Saga category lead, Future Gohan. Mm-hmm. So overall, I want to get the panel's thoughts. What do you guys think of the banner? Do you guys like it? Did it exceed your expectations? Did it go under your expectations? Like, what do you guys think?
I'm on the side that thinks this banner is an easy skip.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with that being an easy skip, but for me, I'm not sure if replacing Hit with Black makes this banner any more valuable. It's literally the changing of one not really impressive unit with another not really impressive unit. I mean, they're both good, don't get me wrong, but neither one are exceptionally impressive.
Right. Taisha?
No, I definitely have to agree with that, to be honest. Like, To be quite frank about it, actually, I felt that switching for into Goku Black was more disappointing. And the only reason why I say that is because we've seen Goku Black more than we've seen Tech Hit. I understand that we had Tech Hit for Christmas, but at the same time, I would have preferred. Honestly, I probably would have preferred to see something a little different besides in Goku Black. Though Goku Black's one of my favorite units
Right.
in the game.
Yeah.
So who would you
But
guys would have preferred to be on the banner? If you
Well-
had the option to choose yourselves, would you have kept Hit? Would you have chosen a different unit?
Well, I mean, I was watching. We're all streamers, so we kind of keep up with the knowledge of the game. But so I was watching your boy, the homie Goresh, and he was saying it would be a really good idea if like the transforming Trunks or AGL Zamasu would have been on this banner, and like everyone that I was watching said that was probably going to be the case to try to make the banner a little bit more appealing for the masses.
Right.
And that's my thoughts exactly as well. I think it would have been a lot better. Maybe not both of them, that would have been crazy, but at least one of them just to make it a little more hype.
I agree. So, like the panelist said, and I'm kind of on the same boat, minus the fact that I already dumped 100 stones in this banner, it is an easy skip for some people. To be honest, I caved in for Trunks, and surprisingly enough, I did pull a third dupe for UI Goku and a first dupe for In Goku Black, so I'm not too disappointed. I was more so disappointed because of the fact that I didn't get Trunks. I know it's stupid to chase units like this, but again, guys, this is just one of those few things that down the line will happen. So even though we always say, oh, this will be an easy skip in, for some people, and including myself, because Trunks is my favorite unit in the game, I could not skip it. Anyways, I feel like that is a good transition into going over to the next section of this banner, is actually discussing the units. So we have the Future Gohan, whose name was actually changed from what it was the first time, Confronting the Fate, to now just Confronting Fate for Gohan Future. So obviously, he is the Bond Master and Disciple and Hybrid Saiyans category leads for the key +2 HP attack, HP and attack +140 and the defense +100. Overall, I think we've said it time and time again. He's not the most impressive unit in the game, but he is impressive enough to replace the Strength Ultimate Gohan. In terms of his other skills, he greatly raises defense for 1 turn. This is a raises defense by 50% for 1 turn, by the way, and he also causes immense damage to the enemy. His passive skill reads as follows: attack and defense reduces damage received by 50% when HP is 50 or less, and then obviously Bond of Master and Disciple category allies attack and defense plus 20%. So overall, in terms of being the most impressive unit, he's definitely not going to be up there, but again, the reason why we say this is obviously with the easy skip banner that it is, everyone is literally just awaiting for Strength Cooler, and at that point, a lot of these banners, and maybe banners before Cooler, we're going to definitely get some filler banners, obviously. What that entails, we don't really know, but down the line, obviously, again, guys, it's just best to save your stones. I don't know if the panelists have anything else that they want to add to the discussion of just this Future Gohan, but I will throw it to them and see what they have to say. So
the only good thing, in my opinion, about this Gohan is being a better Hybrid Saiyan than the other Gohan. Because let's face it, like, his passive's okay, it's kind of in the norm, but his transformation, it just goes with the bad transformations. It's a HP of 58% or more with an ally whose name includes Trunks. Now, granted, Trunks is going to be in a lot of teams regardless, but the fact that you have to have him on there already makes it a very bad restriction. And then it's starting from the 4th turn of battle. So already you got to go 2 full rotations if he's on one of those rotations. So I dislike this Gohan. When he first dropped, I thought he was, decent, but he's just so bad, like, compared to what we're gonna be getting. So it was easy to only put 50 stones in and say, okay, I'm done.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's not a great transformation mechanic, but we've seen much worse. I mean, LR Agility Gohan, like Android 16's not even on his category. There's not a super agility Android 16 to put on his sub lead. I mean, that's just that is a really garbage passive in my opinion because there's nothing that can work with it. At least because there's a billion Trunkses on Hybrid Saiyans and Bond of Master and Disciple.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you have a better chance of activating this one than you do using the Gohan, in my opinion.
I
But
agree.
you do have to make sure it's not a Trunks that's Kid or GT as well. So that
So
already limits you on strike.
You've got
Trunks.
that's true, but you've got the strength future Trunks that has the 40% damage reduction or whatever. He's pretty decent. You've got the new transforming tech Trunks. You've got this tech Trunks that's decent. I mean, as far you've got the physical Trunks that's like an amazing support unit. I mean, all in all, there are a lot worse options for his passive, but I agree with you that the restrictive passive part of it is less than ideal.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be worse. I mean, it's like Goku Black as an example on this banner. He doesn't. He only and it's after the 6th turn, I think, 6th or 7th turn, which is a really fucking long time.
True.
So, I mean, I've used him on multiple teams, and he never transforms. Like, he never, ever. And I don't know. It could have been a lot worse.
All right. So that being said, I am gonna keep the Future Gohan tab open because I am gonna go back to it here in a little bit. But we are gonna go transition over now to In the Name of True Peace Trunks Future. Again, I only really like this unit just out of the sake that it's Trunks. So for me, it's a little bit different. I know this isn't going to be the same podcast as like what Alex had, or Alex, excuse me. But I'm pretty much just going to discuss some of the units in the best way that I can, and just give you guys my thoughts, get the panel's thoughts as well. And that's pretty much just what this podcast is all about. So, this is the sub lead for the Bond of Master and Disciple. If you did not get Future Gohan, he still is the sub lead for the team. And in which case, he gives Ki plus 2 HP attack and defense plus 100%. So, obviously, being a sub lead, it's what we expected. It's not going to do the full 120. It's not going to do anything higher than that. So, the 100 still works as like one of the better sub leads. Yeah.
He awakens.
I will go back and actually go through the awakenings as well. That's why I kind of want to transition back to Future Gohan a little bit later. In terms of his super attack, he raises attack and defense for 1 turn, then causes supreme damage to enemy. And then following up with his passive, it is attack and defense plus 80%, Ki plus 2, plus an additional attack and defense plus 50% when there is an ally whose name includes Gohan Future on the team, plus an additional Ki plus 4, and performs a critical hit when there is an Androids category enemy. I'm pretty sure we talked about that in the last podcast too. It's kind of like a Yu-Gi-Oh card that just has endless amounts of things that just all tie in somewhere. Overall, though, I think it makes the unit really, really good. It's again, it's not going to be the most impressive unit, but it is still one of the more entertaining units to have, you know, in that works intuitive with the Future Gohan. So I will, like I said, I will go back over. So his link skills: Royal Lineage, Saiyan Warrior Race, the Saiyan Lineage, Cold Judgment, Messenger from the Future, and Dismal Future. Categories are Hybrid Saiyans, Future Saga, Time Travelers, Vegeta's Family, Android Cell Saga, and Bond of Master Disciple. So for anyone who wanted to know that as well. And again, transitioning down even further, you guys can see right here in the detail section that he does have farmable supers. I'm not sure if he's completely farmable, other than the best way would be with the Trunks from the Prime Battle, which is right here. This is probably your best bet, honestly, into farming him, but you can farm his SA with this Trunks, so it'll be a little bit easier than going with this STR, SR Future Trunks route, in my opinion. In terms of what it requires to awaken, obviously 35 medals from the Future Gohan, and then he becomes, honestly, one of my favorite arts in the entire game in terms of TURs. I'm still a Super Saiyan 4 Tech Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku fan, but this art is definitely one of my favorites. I've always appreciated this art from Trunks, and there's many variants of it out there on the interwebs. So overall, again, same thing. He becomes the 120 lead for the Bond of Master Disciples category with the Ki plus 3. And then he also greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, that being raises SA multiplier and defense by 50% for 1 turn, and causes supreme damage to enemy. So what do you guys think about this unit when he Dokkan awakens?
I think he's a little too specific on his passives, but other than that, if you are fighting an android and you have Gohan on the same team and fighting Cell specifically, he gets really, really good. He gets really good. But other than that, I think on an average Hybrid Saiyan team or Future Saga team, you probably wouldn't be the best in the whole world. But as long as you got Gohan on there, he'll still be pretty solid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would have to agree on that.
Go ahead.
One. Oh no, I was just gonna say I definitely have to agree on that one. Like, he's probably okay just in a regular Hybrid Saiyans team, but when it comes to facing androids or facing Cell, his there's a reason why he's built for specifically that, and he just tears through those. But otherwise, he take those out, and he's just an average unit.
Yeah, I mean he's a pretty typical, I would say, outside of the conditional part of his passage. He's a pretty typical unfeatured SSR. He's not terrible, but he's not phenomenal. However, take him into the second stage of the Infinite Dragon Ball History event, and you're going to see him shine, especially if you have a Gohan future with you.
Yep.
Definitely. I mean, he gets 240% attack boost with Fight and Cell with Key plus 6, and does an automatic crit. I mean, that's pretty OP. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yep, and I agree. Like I said, the only thing that it really takes away from this unit for me specifically is that he has to shine in only specific events. I like that they do that with certain events, but just for me, I wish that this Trunks had a little bit more to it, a little bit more places to shine outside of specific events like Infinite Dragon Ball History. Especially, it's only really when you get towards like the Cell Saga, regardless. So, or like the Cell portions of it, where he does truly start to shine. And that's kind of the only downside to the Trunks. Is he good? Yes. Like, a lot of these units that have been coming out, they are all really good in their own unique ways. It's just a matter of where you place them, what you do with them. But they're definitely still an easy skip unit to go for. I personally just dumped 100 stones for this Trunks, just out of the fact that it's my favorite character. But I do advise you guys, if you're not really one who just does it for the sake of favorite units, do not summon on this banner. It is not... These aren't the best units out there right now, and the best units are still to come. Moving on from this, we're actually going to go talk about the event. But before we do that, I also want to go back to the Future Gohan again, and let you guys also know that with similar to the Trunks, he does have his own unique way of raising his SA, which you can use with this Future Gohan, which is now more completely farmable, better than ever than it was when it first released. And then he also Dokkan Awakens. But I don't know if we're going to cover that today, but we'll see. But going on back to the Future Gohan, this is kind of the one that we were going to be talking about more specifically here. Obviously, the Heroic Warrior Future Gohan. This is the In Future Gohan once Dokkan Awakened. He is the Bond of Master Disciples leader, as well as the Hybrid Saiyans category for the HP and attack plus 170% and the defense plus 130. His super attack is greatly raises defense for one turn, that being raises defense by 50% again, and causes immense damage to enemy. As well as his passive that states attack and defense was 100%, and then he also reduces damage received by 58% when HP is 58 or less. I think we were talking about that a little bit before as well. And then he also gives Bond and Master Disciples categories allies Ki plus 1 and attack and defense plus 30%, and then he transforms when his conditions are met. And like Taishra, like Trevor and Alex said, that 58% I think is the really odd spot with this unit for most of them. And then obviously with his transforming conditions too. It's just a weird abundance of the 58% that goes on with this unit. But overall, he is a solid unit. Is he worth it? Maybe not this banner specifically, like we said before, but this is a really good unit. He is farmable through the future event. Excuse me. And yeah, so I guess that's all we really need to tell you guys about this unit specifically. Do you guys have any last things that you want to say about it?
The fact that his SA is farmable is the redeeming factor of this unit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, it's an easy SA farm, but otherwise, like, he'll come back, guys. Don't worry, you'll get plenty of him. Take STR Hybrid Saiyans Lead Gohan, for example. If you don't have him, then I'll be pleasantly surprised.
I don't have him.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
I actually beat Hybrid Saiyans Super Battle Road using like Kamehameha and just using Hybrid Saiyan Kamehameha characters. But I mean, it's definitely not something you absolutely need. I mean, if you take the Tech Future Trunks into Hybrid Saiyans. I mean, sure, he's only a 120 lead, but then you can take the friend that's better for the extra boost, and you'll survive. Really, the only thing that I have left to add to the conversation about this particular banner and these particular units is that if you guys do like these units and you want to try to take a shot at getting them, but you're concerned about saving for the 5-year, the Baba Shop or the Pilaf's Trove Shop thing, it's not a bad deal. I mean, $8 you get 5 tickets for a 5-unit summon with a guaranteed SSR.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you also get orbs, training items, other stuff that really is neither here nor there. But you buy all 3 of them, it's $24. You're guaranteed to get 3 SSRs. You might luck out and get multiple SSRs per pull. I've seen that happen already.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
So, yeah,
true.
I would say the tickets are probably your option if you do want to put a couple of summons on this banner, but you don't want to spend your stones because you're saving for cooler or the 5-year.
Yep, I agree. So that brings us over to the event now, Beacon of Hope in the War-Stricken future. So this event again is going to be used for mainly farming quite a few units. Obviously, we have the Future Gohan, as you guys see here. We have the Tech Trunks, and then also following up, you have all these other units that will awaken from the other stages as well. We have the original Future Gohan. You do have the Android 17 and the Android 18, whom honestly I've never really considered using, but I feel like with this new setup that we're going to be getting, especially with this category, is like not necessarily the Bonds Master and Disciple, of course, but like with the future category, maybe they do something more with them. I know we were talking about the free-to-play units, but we'll get to that in a second. Any other reason we brought this event up specifically, or?
Mostly just to talk about the fact that it's there, that you can use Future 17 and 18 that you farm to get a bonus event.
Right.
It's more just to cover the fact that it exists than anything else, I think. One thing I would like to note is that the physical Future Android 17 and the Agility Future 18 are both farmable by the new story event
Mm-hmm.
for Super Attack.
Mhm.
But also, they're double orb changers.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to note as well.
Alright.
They're pretty good units.
They're
They're,
gonna
like, the
help you
best
out, like
in the
on the
world, but-
punching bag type events. They're going to be really useful for
Yep.
the ones that you can't use items on.
Mm-hmm. And then just to show you guys the rest of the stuff, we'll give you the medal sum up as well, just so you guys can understand what it is that you guys could do with this. Obviously, again, they are farmable units, so in terms of this event specifically, if you're looking to farm any of these units, it is going to be 77 medals for the Future Gohan. Obviously, we all knew that. It's going to be 35 medals for the Trunks, so in total, you're going to be looking at 112 medals for both collectively. And then if we're going to go back on the Fizz Future Gohan, the AGL and Physical 17 and 18, it's going to be 119 medals total. So if you guys are not already on this farm, or if you guys are new to the game, still trying to pull some of these units, and you get any of these units, just keep in mind, like they all said before, the 17 and 18 are farmable, so they're easy SA10 units, something that is definitely good to be noted. And it only costs 42 medals at the end of the day, so definitely get on the grind if you guys are not already doing so. It's 7 medals per job if you're doing the hardest difficulty, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. So just letting you guys know that this is a live event going on right now for everyone here. So I guess that brings us to the point that I had already talked about, but we are at the Fight Against Despair. This entire story event has been completely revamped, so I think whoever had completed this a long time ago could now refarm the stones back out of this event as well. On top of the fact that they did add the 17 and 18 that also Dokkan Awaken. These are the ones that are farmable for the 2 ones that we just talked about previous, the physical and agility. And then also, you get this Trunks right here. I still have my alerts on, so that might overlap me when I'm talking. So if I stop for whatever reason, guys in the panels, just know that that's my alerts going off. We also have the SR Future Gohan, who again Dokkan Awakens, who is also used as a farmable unit for the new Future Gohan that came out, and along with other units that do Dokkan Awaken from this event, the Tech Future Gohan and the AGL Super Vegeta. So again, things to just note in this event specifically, you can farm Android 8s, so if you guys are farming Super Battle Road, this is probably one of the most important things to farm, honestly. It's it's an item that is pretty much a staple if you're going to be farming anything like that. So if you do not have these already, this is an easy farm to just do. It's level 1 of the Fire Against Despair. You also get things like this right here, the the gravity chamber training location, also really good to know as well.
Mhm.
Along with some training items, things like that as well. You get, so in stage 3 you do drop the 17, which again, really good. Honestly, we'll get to those in a second. We'll tell you what they do because they're honestly some of the most busted free-to-play units I think we've gotten in a long time. I think Trevor and I were talking about that earlier as well. Future Gohan, I don't think he has anything too special about him, but we will check him out here in a little bit. Obviously, then we go to the Trunks. Again, he EZAs, he Dokkan Awakens. It's a long farm, but it's still, in my opinion, one of the more entertaining units to farm because of the fact that it is free to play. And for those who like collectors, things like that, it's a good unit to have. Anything else that we should note as well?
All 4 of these units that are
Um,
farmable from this event are required for the easy or the extreme Z area. Flag.
Yeah,
That's it.
that is true. I forgot about
Also-
that.
Also, I don't know if it's not like as important as the other items in the list, but Tech Bulma is the last on stage 12.
Mm-hmm.
Which I
That
like.
is true.
Yeah,
That is true.
Bulma support item. She's good. She's pretty solid if you don't have the other ones.
This is actually a really great stage for support items and training item or training location. It's
Mhm.
probably one of the best story events for that, really.
Mm-hmm.
And we should also note, going back really quickly to the farmable Gohan from this event, that once you awaken him, he becomes Super Saiyan Gohan, which makes the tech and the physical Super Saiyan future Gohan farmable for their super attack as well. It's just a big pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I mean, now that they added the boost, it's not so much. But if this was, if this was back before this boost and they added this and they didn't add a boost, oh my god, it would just be.
Yeah, it'd be insanity.
Well, yeah, this category is actually really good for free-to-play players who want the boost because there's 2 free-to-play LRs in this category. You've got the Agility Future Trunks Prime Battle, and you've got LRVB, who are both free-to-play LRs that give you the highest percentage chance per character of getting that bonus.
That is true.
Very true.
All right, so
It's Future Saga on this story, right?
Yep.
mm-hmm.
Technically, there's 3, isn't there? With
Free to play, you mean?
or not free to play. Sorry, my apologies.
Well, yeah, Trunks and Mai are in here too. If we're gonna go on just like LRs in general, yeah, Trunks and Mai are in this.
Trunks and Mai, Rose Masu.
Yeah.
Masu and yeah, Goku are in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of units.
Mubby.
Alright.
No song requests, guys. No worries. Today's not the similar stream as before. But yeah, so I feel like that's a good idea to transition over to the Future Gohan, just to kind of give you guys more insight on what it is you're getting if you farm the Future Gohan. So when he Dokkan Awakens, again, as a free-to-play unit, or as a revamped free-to-play unit, honestly, I don't think there's anything too special about him. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't really tested him out, nor do I have him I don't have him yet, so I haven't really gotten to test him, but just to give you guys the rundown on what he is, he's an all types key +2 and HP attack and defense +30% lead. Again, for free to play, this isn't the greatest lead that we've gotten by any means necessary. I think this is pretty much washed type of leader skill. But again, for collector's purposes, maybe someone wants this unit. He raises attack and defense for 1 turn, on top of getting the SA multiplier, and his defense was 30% for 1 turn as well, and he causes supreme damage to enemy, which isn't bad, to be honest. Passive skill, attack and defense was 70%, again, not bad for a free-to-play unit. Key +2, plus an additional attack and defense was 50% when facing 2 or more enemies, and then he also has a high chance of performing a critical hit, which is at a 50% chance when there is an android's category enemy that you are facing. So overall, it's not a bad unit. Having the ability to crit, I feel like, definitely raises a little bit more of the bar for him specifically, because I feel like a lot of players may have never considered this unit getting a revamp. Obviously, when we got it on JP, it was a little bit different, but I feel like before that, nobody really expected this event to get any type of revamp. So the fact that they did this was a really good thing for the future Gohan. And I like when they do, I said it in the last podcast, I really like when they do revamps with older units like this. and just kind of try to make them more viable into the current meta as best they can. So regardless, I would still farm this unit anyways. It may not be something that you might necessarily need depending on how long you play the game, what your units are like. But if you're struggling to get an extra category, and like we've been saying, for the sake of the new EZA that's dropping, this is definitely a worth it character to have. So, yeah, definitely get on the farm, guys. Honestly, these are all worth it units. They're literally free. You don't have to spend any stones. You don't have to spend any money, and I think that's good to also have noted to you guys. And then just to give you also the rundown of the medal sum ups, I'm not really going to say these out loud, but I will just go ahead and skim through them for you so we can go on to the next portion of what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, honestly, the farms for this story are very, very much worth it, especially with those 2 androids. And then this Gohan, like whether you're a collector or not, it's still very worth. And then obviously we'll be getting into it, but the Super Saiyan Trunks obviously is worth, especially with its own EZA. Coming on the 9th. So.
And
yeah, they're not the best free to play units that's ever graced Dokkan with its presence, but I think they're good enough. Like, I've used worse free to play units on teams that have been pretty decent. So.
I mean, the 17 and 18 are clearly the stars.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. We haven't got there yet, but yeah, I'm very hyped for those.
Actually, let me see. So I can close this out. So I guess we already talked about Trunks. I don't know if we'll get more into it here in a second. Actually, yes, we will. So I'll go ahead and close this.
EZA stuff later.
So we'll actually just transition over to the next 2 units. Obviously, we'll start with 17. Again, needs no introduction at this point. We already have explained how busted this unit is. But just to give you guys, again, the quick rundown on his SSR, he is Android's category key +2, HP attack and defense +30%. Again, as a free-to-play unit, we're not expecting those freaking massive, like 70%, 100 plus, percent leads. Causes supreme damage to enemy. He also gives attack and defense +50%, plus an additional attack +50% when your team has Android 18 future attacking in the same turn. So keeping them together, it's just it's all there for you. You definitely keep them as linking partners throughout your entire Dokkan event, and you're gonna see some fireworks going off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and their animations, dude, so clean.
I
love them.
I hope we can feature that sometime down the line. Actually, maybe show some of the SA animations. That'd be really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're up on Twitter. I can start looking find those before the next episode for the next set of units.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I think this 17 and 18 are an example of restrictive passives done right.
I agree.
Like
100% agree.
These 2 units by themselves, if they're not together, they're gonna do fine. They're not gonna be mind-blowingly awesome, but they're gonna do fine. They're gonna for the categories that they're in, they will be effective. But running them together might be 2 of the best free-to-play units in a rotation that we've ever seen.
Yep,
I agree. And then, no, go ahead, guys. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I definitely have to agree with that because of the fact that, the state of the game is evolving so much to where, like, there's so many different events that have you use free-to-play units. So it really feels like a reward when you actually farm up the free-to-play unit, you rainbow them out, and you're like, okay, cool, now I actually get to use this, in this certain event. Take for example, just prime battles. What prime battle is going to come next where there's going to be a boost in like androids? So
well, since they're a Future Saga, you can use them in Trunks's.
Exactly.
Right now.
I would say, aren't Future Saga and androids both for Trunks?
That I don't know. I know Future Saga.
I think it's just Future Saga.
I don't know if it's. I don't think it's androids.
Maybe.
I think it's just Future Saga.
I'll
either way, whatever. Either way, 17 alone will just absolutely decimate him. So.
Oh, it is Future Saga and Android. So yes, there you go. Like now it makes that grind easier.
They'll get both boosts. They will get the Future Saga boost, and they will count towards the Android Saga boost. So putting those on your team is a double boosted unit.
There you go.
And
even better.
To run through it, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you guys off.
No, you're good. You're good.
To run through it again, obviously the medals that are required are 15 medals of the Android 17, which you get from the fight against Despair. And so yeah, I think it's also important that we note to talk about their Dokkan Awakenings as well. And this is where what Tystra and Alec were talking about really starts to come into effect. How are you guys feeling about more so this for free to play units? Do you want them to do more of this stuff, or like more units that work in cooperation with each other for free to play?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm a huge believer of rotation meta. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that really makes sense. I might be the first person in the world to ever say that. But like having the 17 and 18 on the same rotation makes them good, right? But I build all my teams around that concept of having, okay, this is a main rotation, this is a main rotation, and then you have two floaters, right? I think most people make teams for that. Like, you're not gonna have a team just full of random shit that might link together, you know. But like these two, even if they didn't have the passive for being OP, they still will have perfect links for each other and be fantastic units, stacking attack and defense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be amazing. But yeah, so you run these two on rotation and they just kick ass. I'd love to see more units that do that.
Now, I don't want to like take the title free to play king of this podcast or anything, but I think we all agree that I screw around with free to play units the most.
Facts.
Yep,
Yeah.
facts.
As far seriously, as far as free to play units go, I'm impressed. Like it's this new design philosophy that they've had in the last 6 months or so, where free to play units are good, not amazing, but good, is so helpful, because if you're trying strictly to be a free to play player, the game even a year, 2 years ago was very difficult because of the caliber of units that you could build a team out of. And in the last 6 months, we've gotten so many good free to play units. I mean, and just look at Android Cell Saga. Okay, you've got from the Battlefield shop, you've got the Krillin, you've got this 17 and 18, you've got the Goku Gohan, you've got the Trunks Vegeta. Those are 5 solid free to play units. I mean, and you basically have made a completely free team out of one category, because that Krillin is the Android Cell Saga lead at 120%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so it's a phenomenal time to be a free to play player in this game.
Oh yeah, I agree. And the free to play units just get more, they just get more and more OP. I mean, free to play used to be. I mean, of course, I haven't been playing for that long, so I don't know. I can't really say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Free to play units in the past have been, in my opinion, unusable almost. Like, most of them are just garbage. You have the occasional hit and miss of like, oh, okay, that's decent. I'll put that on a team. But now we're getting to a point where free to play units are actually the best unit for that spot. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine having another Goku's family support that isn't Goku and Gohan. You know, like, they are a fantastic unit for that team.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
It feels as though right now, with the state of the game, especially with people saying that, you know, or back before, that Dokkan is pay to win, right now it actually feels like free to play is a very viable option. You
I agree. I agree 100%.
beat these events, you know, so that's
a good point.
That's what I like about it. As a whale, it doesn't pertain to me, but now I have the argument with people to where it's like, hello, are you not looking at these free to play units? These things are monsters. You don't have to worry about anything with these guys. So
yeah, I agree. When they designed free so that they're enticing to players who spend money, they're doing it right.
exactly.
I agree.
Agreed.
All right, and to run you guys through his Dokkan Awaken, because obviously a couple of things change here with Android 17. Same thing as before. The key +3 HP attack and defense was 50%, so he does get that 20% boost here. He also raises attack and defense and causes supreme damage to enemy. His raised attack and defense, by the way, is 20% for 99 turns. Just as it says, attack and defense plus 70%, plus an additional attack and defense plus 70%, and a medium chance, which is 25% to perform a critical hit when your team has Android 18 future attacking in the same turn. Also launches an additional super attack if there's a hybrid Saiyans category enemy. So again, for a free-to-play unit, probably one of the most solid units that we've ever gotten for free-to-play in a long time. Or at least for me, I really do feel like this is going to be something people should not sleep on, especially for those who are still trying to figure out what to do in terms of free to play or whether you spend money in the game or not. So, no matter what the case is, if you're not farming these guys at all, you're doing something wrong in Dokkan. I'm going to be completely honest with you. So to move over to the Strength 18, again, also used to farm the SAs. Siblings Bond is her category leader, and she is category key +2 and HP attack and defense +30%. Causes supreme damage to enemy, on top of giving the attack and defense +50%, plus the additional attack and defense +50% when you have Android 17 Future. So, again, just literally amazing linking partners to each other. Requires 15 Android 18 medals, similar to the 17. And going to her Dokkan Awaken as well. Become Siblings Bond categories, key +3 and HP attack and defense. Attack and defense +50%, and then raises attack and defense by 20% for 99 turns as well. So literally, again, just goes hand in hand with everything. And there's not much else to say other than the fact that in terms of getting an additional, a chance to crit, 18 has the 25% chance to evade an enemy's attack, including a super attack when you have Android 17 attacking in the same turn, and also launches an additional super attack when there's a Hybrid Saiyans category. So, what you do have that perfect blend of having the ability for a free-to-play unit to crit, as well as having one able to evade an enemy's attack that includes super attacks, which is honestly really good for free-to-play units. I didn't think that we'd get free-to-play units that were remotely this good enough to have skills like this, which I think is really important for progression in Dokkan, for sure.
Yep. I agree. Her art is my favorite of the two.
Yeah, the art's great. The only complaint I really have is that she's a Siblings Bond category lead. The one from the Battlefield, the 18 from the Battlefield shop, is also a Siblings Bond category lead. I mean, I would like to see a little bit more diversity in our leader types. Like, Gohan doesn't always have to be a Hybrid Saiyans lead. 18, right. I mean, we need more than just 18 and Gohan, or Gobros as, Siblings Bond leads. But as far as complaints goes, it's an incredibly minor one. It's just me being nitpicky.
The good thing about that, though, is you could run both of those on the same team.
Well, yeah, because the one's Future and the other one's not.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Which I guess that's a good segue into my new team video coming out tomorrow. It's gonna be a shameless promotion. It's a whole Android 16, 17, and 18 team, and it's the most troll ass team in the game, and I fucking love it.
It's the Area 51 team.
Ooh,
I guess so.
Like
yeah.
Because if you had 17, 18, and 16, it means 51.
Oh, hey, yeah, that's cool. That's a cool name. I'm gonna call it that. That's dope. But yeah, it's really fun, and I only made it because the free-to-play units come out, because they're so good, and they link with everybody on the team because they're all 17, 18. So
let's just be real here, guys. Half the existence of this podcast is so we can all self-promote. I mean,
that's true.
Let's be honest here.
Just half the existence.
In the show notes about promoting.
Follow.
Yeah, true.
Follow.
All right, so I think that we've cleared out everything about the fight against despair. We talked about Future Gohan, we talked about the Trunks, we talked about 17 and 18, and again, guys, please just farm these units. Even if you have to farm extra for the sake of awakening, raising SA, all that type of stuff, they're definitely worth it. And I don't think any of us have any disagreements. I'm sure people even in the chat may not even have disagreements on that. Farm these units, even if you're a complete whale. Even Taisha's farming them, so I guess that speaks alone for itself.
Right.
But moving over actually to the EZA, the EZA itself. I'm sorry. But the EZA itself is for the SR Trunks, obviously. This unit, I don't really know anything about this unit. To be fair, I rainbowed him without the ideal that I was ever going to read what he did. I'll be honest.
Yep.
So, for me, this unit is something that I just don't really take too much... I don't give enough credibility for, if that makes more sense. but
Mhm.
it is important to talk about the event details. So, like we said last time, the amount of units that you can use in this EZA are relatively low. You do have the Prime Battle LR Cell. With the new Android 17 and 18, it's definitely going to be a much greater help for that as well because of what they can do. Also, on top of being the fact that they are free to play, you can also use Trunks, um, and the Future Gohan as well, which I'm pretty sure we said all those were requirements. So
Yeah, you have to have those four.
you need to include these four specifically. So again, just to give you guys the rundown, these units right here are primarily the units that you're gonna want. The Strength Super Trunks is a summonable unit, whereas everything else in here is a farmable unit. So you have the Super Strike Trunks down there as well at the end of the list with the Fizz Future Gohan. And then you also have the Trunks himself, along with the Android 17 and 18, and then the Cell. So, and it works pretty much as every other EZA. You know, you go through the 30 stages. It's good for the stones, honestly, as well. If you guys are struggling for stones, don't know what to save them on, or if you need stones for the sake of cooler or 5th anniversary, this is literally just free stones in your pocket for the sake of
Mhm.
doing an EZA. But overall, I think we do need to talk about Trunks and a little bit more about what he does, because
Mhm.
like I said, I haven't really looked into it. And actually, I have it up already, so never mind. Let's go ahead into Trunks. Again, he's an in-type leader, HP attack and defense plus 70%. This is before his Extreme Z Awakening, just to give you guys that as well. Um, Moving on to his actual Extreme Z Awakening, because we already kind of know what the unit is beforehand. So when he is fully EZA'd, he becomes an in-type key plus 2 HP attack and defense plus 70%. So basically a god lead for intelligence types, which I like because it's more of an all in types, not just a super types lead
Mhm.
for intelligence. So that's really good. He causes supreme damage to enemy and lowers attack and defense by 20% for 3 turns, so not too bad, honestly. Again, for his ECA, it's going to be worth if you have him already. I don't personally see myself using this unit any other day of the week, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, but that's just my own opinion because I don't really run Future Saga, unfortunately. His passive defense plus 100%, attack plus 100% when facing 2 or fewer enemies. Excuse me. Plus an additional attack plus 50%, and a great chance of performing a critical hit by 70% chance when there is an androids category enemy on the team. So, again, like we've been doing, I'm going to transition it over to the panelists, and they can give you your thoughts on what they think about the unit.
I mean, I think
Uh,
starting off saying that this is a 2-year-old unit is probably something we should address. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge advocate of EZAs. I think they're probably the best feature added to Dokkan in its entire history, in my opinion, because we take these subpar units and we bring them maybe not to top tier, but we bring them to usability.
Right.
Mhm.
And yeah, they came out back in February 22nd of 2018, and now he is being EZA'd in February 10th. So, like we said, it's almost 2-year unit. But it wasn't expected to be anything extraordinary. But like we said, with the EZAs, they do bring back some credibility to some of these units, and I think that's a really good feature to have as well. And like Alex said, the EZAs have really helped a lot of units in the past just become more relevant into the meta, which I really like, honestly. I feel like we need more units similar to this, and it's a good push, in my opinion, for Dokkan for what Dokkan has set for the future as well.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, and my 2 cents for this is one, I think he's a solid unit. I think he's fine. Nothing wrong with him. If it said 2 or more enemies, I probably wouldn't be super hyped, but it says 2 or fewer, so
Mm-hmm.
I think that's totally fine. He has a solid. He's got attack and defense plus 100% no matter what event you're doing, basically, which is cool. I'm cool with that. That alone would probably be enough to make me use him. Didn't
Yeah.
get the chance to crit with android enemies and additional for 150 attack.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good unit overall. I think he's good. Is he better than Future Saga Trunks LR Prime Battle? I'm not one to say that or not, but I think he's a good option.
Yeah,
If
I
you don't
agree.
want to run him, or you don't have him, or you have farmed the 777 medals for that, this would be a lot easier, a lot quicker. He wouldn't be the worst for Future Saga SPR when that comes a thing, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but
The thing. Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, my last thing is I'm really happy that this is happening for free to play units specifically.
I agree too.
Because EZAs in the past have been for summonable units. Like most, in fact, most EZAs are for summonable units. There's very few for free to play. So the more free to plays that get EZAs, the more the more viable the free to play is. The free to play is just becoming more and more meta, and I love it.
I do too.
Very very much agreed on that. Especially again coming from a whale like myself, it's very cool to have free to play units that are viable in situations where you are restricted to free to play units. Because let's face it, now Dokkan is actually putting out these events that are going to be like harder for whales in the sense of you can't just buy stones and get the unit that you need and say, hey, I got it. You actually have to take the time to farm these units out and know what's going on. And the fact that, with this, it's a great addition. Yes, we have LR Prime Battle, Trunks, but there's going to be situations where a HEL unit's not going to be as good
Yeah,
for
exactly.
us. We have the int version, and it works very very well. So very very excited to have more content. but but yes, I'm happy with the state of free to play right now, just because it's a very good viable option for people, and um they don't have to pay to play. So
I agree.
I would like to point out that I failed when it came to reading on this card, and I thought that his passive was only of 2 or more enemies.
There you
So
so
yeah, so this card is actually better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And since it's free to play, and it's on Android Cell Saga category, it might make an appearance in a free to play attempt against Legendary Goku.
There you go.
Ooh.
You never know. I mean, I don't think he has enough defense when he's rainbowed, even with the 100% bonus. So he would definitely be a weak point. I still think the Intelligence Super Trunks from World Tournament, because of his stacking defense on his passive, even though it's not infinite, is going to pan out to be just a little bit better. But he'll definitely go in my rotation of things to try.
Yep.
Definitely. So, just to give you guys a heads up as well, before we move on to our next segment, talking about legendary campaigns, because that is what is coming up next. Basically, the stats that you're looking for, if you do decide to rainbow him, is his HP basically becomes 11,010. His attack becomes 10,526, and then his defense, like Alex said, is definitely not the greatest. But for free to play, again, there's not much we can expect. He sits at 7338. So, overall, I would still rainbow this unit personally. Just in my opinion, I've had him rainbowed for a long time prior to this, so for me it wasn't a choice in the meta anymore. But if you guys have the orbs, if you have, if you're not knowing what you want to farm, and this is a free to play unit, just have out there. Also with the Extreme Z Awaken, it's definitely a unit that should not go unlooked in terms of whether or not he is worth the investment of potential orbs, in my opinion. So definitely go ahead, and if you have the ability to, farm his dupe pads, get his orbs, it's totally worth it, honestly. But yeah, so transitioning over to our next thing, and this is pretty much just going to be a rough sum up. We did get the strength legendary campaign for Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegito, and basically these are the rewards that you got for having the unit. If you had already farmed him before, you were guaranteed the 20 stones. If he was super attack 20, you also got the 7 other Kais, and then if he was a 100%, you basically made all your orbs back. So, if you guys did not farm this, get on it. It's worth it. I feel like nowadays it's going to be a lot easier, especially just because that's just how this game is. It's making free to play a lot more easier to get, in my opinion, and I really like that. Whereas before it was more of a hassle than anything. But this is definitely something to look into. But yeah, so if you guys are curious about the rewards, I don't know if there's anything else that anyone wants to bring up about this. I'm pretty sure we touched up about this last week too, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's important to note that currently, because of this campaign, we have ×4 rank XP, but on top of that, all the stamina costs are reduced in half. So it used to be you could unlimited rank farm off a ×4 rank XP to somewhere in the mid 500 ranks. With half stamina, you have unlimited rank XP farming up to somewhere in like the 7 or 800s, I think. Like you can literally just sit there and play the last stage over and over again, refreshing your stamina, never have to spend a stone, and continuously rank up.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
There's no real benefit to doing that after rank 500 in my opinion, because there's no stone rewards
Right.
yet. But if they ever do add stone rewards past 500, you get those even if you've gone past 500 already.
I
yeah,
agree.
You can also, I'm saying this is the time. If you've been putting this off like a lazy piece of like everybody else, like everybody has, like I did for a long time. This is the time. Like this is the best time. If you miss this time, you're just doing yourself a disfavor. Like this is the time to grind this.
I agree.
And this is the time. If you have already grinded, grind some incredible gems. It's half stamina. You're gonna get a lot of rank XP. Just do it. Like there's a lot of. I'm all about procrastination. That's my whole thing in life. But this is something to not procrastinate on any longer. I mean, this unit's been out for years. Just do it.
Can I also say that this little mini celebration for the legendary campaign is phenomenal? As somebody who likes to farm, like, look at the story events that we're getting. We're getting Defeat the Legendary Super Saiyan again, where you can get the free-to-play Videl, Kid Trunks, Kid Goten. You got the super guy in the galaxy, Galactic Crisis, where you could farm freaking Hercule statues. That's how I got like 250 million statues in 2 hours. Or sorry, 250 million Zenny in 2 hours. You got the Vegeta's Demise, where you get the purple Vegeta. You got the Broly event, which is giving you three EZA units and a very good free-to-play unit in the Frieza. The GT4 SRs are coming back. The Wrath of the Dragon event, the Bio Broly, the Lord Slug. For free-to-play players, this is like the
time
creme de la creme of like free-to-play celebrations. Like, guaranteed amazing thing to do.
Oh yeah, and just to speak of all the SA fodder that you can farm with these events, like everybody waits for the movie Broly event to come back for Goku and Vegeta fodder, Frieza fodder. I mean, it's just insane. It's insane the amount
Not
of.
to mention that every Super Saiyan Blue Goku and every Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta are farmable through the Broly event as well. Again, it's a little more work
and Golden Frieza. Golden Frieza for the most part.
Yep, Golden Frieza as well. Gogeta. In fact, stock up on your Gogetas.
Yeah, stock up right now on base form Gogetas. You need 10 at UR
9
for what's coming. Or 9 at UR. My apologies. To get ready for what's coming next.
Yep, and then of course we've got the Vegito in the Dokkan event. So both 5-year units, which we haven't talked about yet, are going to have farmable super attacks. And I believe that's the first time that an anniversary unit has ever had a farmable super attack.
Well, except for SSJ4 Goku. Technically he does, but it's not
a farmable super
attack. Are you talking about the physical Super Saiyan 4 Goku?
Yeah, the one.
It's not farmable, but you could, if you didn't care, you could use it.
I think I used a few of those for my SS4. I've got my.
I didn't even think about that.
My physical one is, I think, Super Attack 5 with 4 pass unlocked, and I use the rest for Goku for the legendary.
I agree. And then also, we're going to move on to the Supreme Kai Trials, which is basically what we just touched up on about where you get them to get all the stones, or the Kai stones, necessary to get the Vegito. So, again, it is worth it. You farm everything just straight through quest mode. It's a worth it farm. Half stamina, 4 times XP. It's really worth it, especially if you're trying to grind massive XP to have more stamina to even do any of these events. It's absolutely fucking worth it. If you're already not hopping on the bandwagon and doing any of this, this is your time to do it. And if you miss out on this chance, honestly, you're missing out on one amazing opportunity for, honestly, in my opinion, one of my favorite free-to-play units in the game. I'll be real and say that.
So many teams, dude.
I'll be real and say it. He is one of my favorite free-to-play units in this game.
He's really one of the best free-to-play units. I think really the importance of pointing out the Supreme Kai Trials stuff is more or less just so I had an excuse to put a link into chat so people could find that information. There really is, like, with this event, it's not difficult. There are some annoying things, like build a team of cost of under 60. that
Right.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
hate that.
You know,
fucking God.
most of the requirements are really easy. It's use characters of similar link skills. Use characters of specific color with a specific link ability or whatever, like Fierce Battle. And I know that there has been a lot of discussion about whether or not VB is free to play. With the introduction of this campaign, no one can say he's not
Yeah,
because with the
100%.
amount of Patara medals that you can buy out of the Baba shop, I don't think you need to have any of the Fierce Battle units anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
would agree,
yeah.
100%.
I honestly don't see why anybody would say he's not free to play because he is. You literally farm him up, and
When
It's
he first came
it's-
out, he required, or he still requires having a bunch of Fierce Battle. You have to have six units of each color with Fierce Battle. And when he first came out, there weren't that many. There was almost
Yeah.
exclusively Dokkan Fest exclusive units that had Fierce Battle at that point in time. Since then, we've gotten a lot more units that awaken from Dokkan events, so
Mhm.
you can get the Fierce Battle units, but the argument was that since it required Fierce Battle units, it technically wasn't free to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I mean, I've always hated the. I don't know, man. Like saying that summonable units aren't free to play. You know, because I'm like, you know how many stones I've gotten for not paying a dime? Like thousands. Like a lot. Like I have most of the units I have from not buying anything. So like for people who say, "Oh, I didn't get this because I didn't pay money," like no, because your luck was shitty that day. You'll get it. You'll get it eventually. I'm telling, dude. I farmed me and Alec were saying just earlier. Like he got 80 stones just from today, from the events that came out. You know, like me too. I almost have like 200 stones now, and I didn't do anything. Like I just sat there and the game just gave me stones. So summonable units aren't pay to play. Rainbowed summonable units are pay to play. You can fuck off. But everything other than that, it's free to play.
So, I guess one more thing I want to point out here, and chat actually helped me remember that, with that they did add more of the Patara medals to the Baba shop. So now you can actually awaken your LRVB, buy all of the other copies from the Baba shop, because there's some available for the Supreme Kai medals and some available just from Baba gems.
Yep.
Buy all of those. You can have a Rainbow LRVB, and then you can have a TUR Vegito with like 3 dupes in it.
Mm-hmm.
All free to
Not bad.
play. And since one is LRVB and the other one is Vegito, you can run them together. They're both attack and defense stacking units.
I agree.
Yeah,
So there you
that's
go.
true.
So it is worth it.
My grind's a little excessive, but I don't know if I want to do it twice.
You don't have to do the grind twice. You do the grind once, you get all of the medals from that, and then all you do is buy up all the copies of Vegito that you can, and the only thing you're going to have to grind extra on top of that is the Incredible Gems to buy the ones from the Incredible Gem shop, because you'll already
that's
have
true.
all of the Supreme Kai medals.
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, easy XP, half stamina.
Yep.
So 100% worth. I'll probably be doing that at some point myself, to be honest, 'cause I haven't even started it, but I will do that at some point for sure.
Yeah.
So I think that we covered everything in terms of the campaign, so we're going to transition over to things that are coming soon. This is going to be more of a quick discussion. We're not going to sit too much on this specific topic here.
Are we going to talk about the 7-unit EZA?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we
we skipped
totally
that.
skipped the 7-unit EZA.
We did. Is that even in the
Yep.
show notes? I don't even think it's
Yep,
in
it was
here.
right before the
Yeah.
LRVB campaign.
It is.
Oh,
I just don't want
no.
to miss it.
Okay, let me go ahead.
Timo,
and-
gosh darn it!
I know, dude.
Radio or freaking sound check 1 2. Motherfucker.
Oh no, see when I open the link it brings me to this. It brings me to the Trunks link. But it even says
Oh.
7 EZA, but it brings me to
Sorry,
Trunks.
that's because when I made the original, I put the wrong link there. In the most updated ones, I have it.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's correct.
Let me
So,
go ahead.
Let me get you a link to that.
I got you. Appreciate it.
I
Might
got
have to. Oh, might have to. Oh, never mind. Do you mind posting it in the Discord so I can open it?
Oh, I just opened it in chat. Put it in the chat.
Here, I'll
Oh.
put it in Discord.
Got you.
Might be. I'm a failure.
Actually,
Thank
the
you, thank
failure
you.
belongs to me because I didn't do a good check on my links until this morning.
Yeah, how dare you?
How
I know I'm a terrible producer.
Also, shout out to just want to say this real quick because shout out to everybody watching right now. Like this is a
Yeah.
massive viewing, and we want to
Yeah.
thank you guys for that.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I'm pretty sure the rest of the panelists also do greatly appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
I kind of am gonna shamelessly plug them as well. If you guys are not already followed to any of these guys, Alec Hunter, Trevor Isengard, or Taisa Daisetsu, they're all in the chat right now. They've been talking a little bit more than I have because I'm hosting this podcast specifically for today. If you guys remember Alec's podcast, it was pretty much all of us talking to chat. So we'll probably be doing this over on Taisha's channel too, where you'll see me, Alec, and Trevor talking more so in the chat with you guys when everyone else is individually speaking. So we appreciate you guys just for being around. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been a blast so far, and I've been having fun with this. Hopefully, you guys have been enjoying yourselves as well. So now that we can touch up. Now that we can touch up on the topic that was missed, unfortunately, the Fierce Battle Saga Extreme Z Awakening that has hella amount of units to Dokkan Awaken to Extreme Z Awakening. We have the Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta AGL. We now have Nova Shenron, the Tech, Android Super 13, along with Metacooler, the In Super 13. Evil Boo, and obviously the Super Saiyan Goku from Cooler, or the Return of Cooler, excuse me. But yeah, so worth it farm. Honestly, it's again 30 stones in your pocket for the sake of just, and you get every medal. By the way, I think it's important to note that as well. Just for doing this EZA, you get every one of their medals per person. So each unit. It's just one shot. You go through 30 levels and then you're done. But also on top of the 30 stones, you also make out on quite a decent amount of potential orbs as well. And obviously the 2 times for each type of the Kais. Again, a worth it farm, honestly, if you haven't done this already.
Definitely.
One of the most amazing farms that I've done, honestly. It was really fun. Obviously, the team that you want to take to this event, or at least the team that they tell you to take to the event, is Ginyu Force. You run through this no problem with the free-to-play Ginyu Force team. If you have the LR Goku Ginyu, if you have just the normal physical LR Ginyu, along with every other free-to-play Ginyu Force team, literally you have no issues running through this entire event with just those units alone. So honestly, it's something that you need to get on. I'll show you guys right here the units that you can farm. Basically, you want to start at all these SSRs and work your way up. The rest of these are kind of just units that you might pull on banners, but they're not really the units that you're looking for. Also, you can get this out of the... You also can get this Goku out of the Baba's shop too, if I'm not mistaken. So, even if he's not something that you want, collectors, he is there. Pretty much just for nothing.
Like half of these units have farmable super.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally farm LR Ginyu, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about the EZA units, like half the ones that awaken.
Oh, yes, yes.
Actually have farmable
13
super attacks.
Cooler.
Yep, 13 Cooler and
Goku,
well,
Vegeta.
The Goku doesn't. The
Like
Goku doesn't
Shenron.
necessarily have a farmable. I guess if you use Prime Battle, you could farm it. But like, there's
Well, no, Yadra
SR
Goku.
the white hot face off Goku.
Mm-hmm.
If you use white hot face off Goku, because everybody gets like 1 million of those every time they summon, you can actually use that to raise the physical Super Saiyan Goku's SA.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that logic as well, Evil Boo technically does as well. There's
Yep.
a SR Evil Boo that drops who's honestly better than him pre EZA.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The only one
Before
that-
EZA, he's better than.
The only one that does not have a farmable is Nova. Out of
Yeah.
all,
Nova
all
sure
these,
doesn't have one.
he's the only one that's not farmable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is
And if
unfortunate.
you guys are gonna awaken all 7 of these units at the same time, make sure you have Zenny stash because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna be ridiculously
It's a
expensive.
lot.
Like I have
Yep.
I have a 500 million Zenny, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be broke after tomorrow.
But at the same
yeah.
time, too, like I was talking about before, which is where I did my Zenny farm, was Galactic Crisis. There's that stage where you can get up to 4 Hercule statues, depending on what you have stacked for your team and bonuses. So if you run out of Zenny, go there and just farm it up. Like a solid 2 hours will get you a lot of Zenny.
Mm-hmm. Is there a way
Yeah.
that we can see how much Zenny it costs just through this, by the way?
I mean,
Like, is
we
there a
can
section
map
for
it.
it? Yeah, that is true.
I don't
Let me,
know.
let me math it right now.
Well, the thing is that main EZAs usually cost about 35 to 40 million zenny in total, and then
Okay, so
usually
like
secondaries are about 15 to 20. But
Yeah,
that's the thing is it's all 7 are the primary, so it's about it's
Well, is the free to play 13 it's primary as well?
I mean, they're all technically considered primary for this
Yeah.
event.
Okay.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do need to. I feel like it's needs to, since we've been talking up Storm free to play units recently. Since this 13 is the only free to play unit of the list up here.
Yeah.
He's pretty dang good.
Yeah, they did a good job taking a unit that was an absolute nightmare to find and making almost worth it at the end.
Yeah,
I agree.
which is kind of like the Trunks. He's kind of a long grind. Not as bad as this. Yeah, I think he's decent. I grinded him to prep for this EZA. Probably not even gonna EZA him. But
So if we're saying that each one of these guys are going to be about 30 million apiece, we're looking at 210 million. We're going to need to.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
worth though, because all these units are good.
I
Some
agree.
better than others, but they're all pretty decent.
Yeah, this month is honestly, in my personal opinion, the EZA month because we have these, and then the next thing we're going to talk about. And
The
then
EZA.
we also got 2 more, like surprise additions that I'm sure we'll be talking about here in a moment.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. Did you guys want to go into talking a little bit about these units, or do you just want to be like, yeah, these are here, get over it?
I mean, we talked about them not completely and totally in depth last week, but we did cover them quite a bit.
Okay.
We pointed out really the most important ones, which I think are like for
I guess that's
free-to-play
true,
players,
yeah.
obviously 13, and then the Goku is probably the best of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Definitely.
I would say after that, the number 2 is probably the Metal Cooler because of his, what he provides for the rest of his team.
I
Right.
agree.
And then Vegeta, that means he's the least good one, by the way.
Not
I'm,
necessarily.
I'm kidding. I'm
That
kidding.
agility, I think, is better than the intelligence 13. It's definitely
I
better
agree.
than the
Yeah.
tech.
No,
13.
I agree.
Yeah.
Nova Shenron actually is one of the, I would say, more useful EZAs out of this, just because Shadow Dragons is such a limited category
Mm-hmm.
that any boost to that category is a huge help.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about this last week, briefly about Shinron and his category and stuff. But he literally, you had to use him before, you could not use him.
Mm-hmm.
So now you still have to use him, but now he's actually good.
Yeah,
He'll actually
100%.
help you.
In my
And yeah.
opinion, Shadow Dragons is one of the more underrated teams. I have a lot of fun running Shadow Dragons.
I mean, it's a good team.
Yeah, it's a good team, and obviously not top 10, but I still think it's one of those ones that slips under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's just because
still fun.
the category is so limited. You know,
And
Yeah.
because
You
the
have to run a
category
certain
itself
team.
sucked until the 4-year anniversary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Let's be real here. Like, you could do things with that category, and you could beat the Super Battle Road. That's all well and good, but it wasn't like an incredibly fun team to run until it got 2 SS4 LRs on it.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
True.
Yep. I mean, before, I mean, I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like, I tried to do this SBR last week before this EZA came out, and my support was GT Trunks. I'm not even. And I couldn't do it. But he was the only support I had.
I threw up.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Needless to say, I didn't beat it. But yeah, I do have to say real quick about this this Evil Boo, since he's one of my favorite units right now. He just becomes an absolute monster for Majin Buu Saga. Like, definitely gonna be a staple on that team to be doing
Definitely
that.
another category that needs some love.
I agree.
Buu Saga, definitely, yeah. LR Kid Buu.
All right, so I think that we covered everything.
Mhm.
I just had to give Vegeta a little bit of shit in this stream. You know, I have to do it at least once a week. But yeah. So again, guys, are they worth it units? Of absolutely. And again, you know, I personally haven't really tested out Evil Boo. I want to. I know how good he is. Trevor talks highly of him. So, I'm excited to see what I can do in terms of building him for my team specifically, because I did actually awaken every single one of them this morning, I believe. The only one I did not do was the Tech 13, if I'm not mistaken. But I did everything else, so that's gonna be fun for me. I can't wait to test some of these units out and kind of give maybe some other feedback outside of the podcast. Maybe I'll have a different point of view on it on my own streams and things like that. But since we're still on the topic of EZAs, I think it is time to transition over to something that we're not, like I said before, we're not going to talk too much about it, but we are going to be talking about the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku EZA. I don't really have anything to say about it, to be honest. I feel like at this point we all know that it's coming, but do we even really know? Like, go ahead,
Is it
Trevor.
about
coming
this?
next Sunday?
It comes out on the 10th, same as
Yeah.
Trunks.
Yeah.
We did talk about this a little more in depth last week, so I don't want to get too into it. But my 2 cents on this is that he's not the best, but he's definitely better than he was. And if you like him, he's definitely worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's all
And
I'll say.
I mean, really, as far as the event goes, Universe 6, so things, I mean, obviously, fitting well. If you have Ella, sit well, even though they don't have, like, the best, damage output. In fact, they are 80% damage reduced. They're still going to be good because of their dodging, to help you survive the fight a little bit more as you get into the higher stages. But I think anybody with a half decent extreme tech team is going to be able to go in here and just wreck it.
Yeah.
I agree. So, also, before we transition over to the next thing that we're going to be talking about, obviously, I do want to point out the other things as well. This is another Extreme Z Awakening, pretty much like every other one that you'll be able to get the 11 Kais from. You also get the potential orbs. You also get 30 Dragon Stones. Like, all of this is also just to be completely, have you guys noted. So you guys understand what it is you can get. Also, other missions that you get just for completing level 10 or higher is pretty much the same thing. You basically can make about 4 stones outside of the 30 that you already make from the EZA. And then, like Alec was saying, I think his mic cut out, but just to kind of go over it again on what he was talking about, he's basically talking about like the Universe 6 teams that you can use. If pretty much KC and Tech Hit and things like that are going to be like some of the cards that you're going to be looking for if you don't have for this EZA. They're not really out right now, so it's kind of impossible, but
I mean, it is out right now. It's that Tech free-to-play Kava.
yeah, the Tech Free-to-Play Kava also
he would
is...
annihilate this event. Pretty good.
I agree.
And the free-to-play, I don't know if the free-to-play Kale and Cleveland are out right now.
I
really good.
don't think they are.
The strength one and the intelligence one.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're farmable right now, but if you already have them, yeah, you can definitely.
Yeah, if you already have them, I'm just starting to throw out free-to-play options.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be the worst. For sure. Also, that intellect or a physical hit right there would be pretty good. He's high chance to evade, changes the orbs and stuff. Again, same event, but not bad.
Yep. So yeah, we'll touch more up on this in a future podcast. I'm assuming that would be...
No, I think we've covered this particular EZA. I mean, we covered it quite a bit in depth last week.
Right.
And we're just touching on it here because it's coming next week.
All right. So, all right then. Yeah, transitioning on to the next thing. What the Goku's actually going to be like when he EZAs. So, first and foremost, actually, we can go back to what he starts as. He is an AGL type, HP attack and defense plus 100%, and then he causes immense damage to enemy while sacrificing 5% HP. I know we touched up on this, but just to give you guys the quick rundown, he does become the 120 lead, and then he basically has a complete change around on everything, much like EZAs do. So I'll just give you guys a little brief looks over this unit so you guys can get whatever it is that you want to see out of it. And yeah, I think this pretty much covers the SSB Kaioken Goku, even though he's not Kaioken, but he has the Kaioken art.
Which is actually great, because
Yes.
you can run him with Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, which we just got in December. I just want to say that they took this unit that was... He was good when he came out, but he wasn't like blow your mind good. And they completely changed him. He's got infinite stacking attack. He's got, he's got real attack and defense instead of flat boosts now. I mean, he's...
Yep.
I guess the one thing to really note here is that the wording of his passive. So the additional attack and defense 59% for 10 turns from the start of turn doesn't start counting until the first turn that this Goku shows up on the board. However, the other part of his passive performs the critical hit after the 9th turn from the start of battle is exactly what it says. Turn 9 of the fight. Not turn 9 after Goku shows up, but turn 9 of the fight. So if he's off rotation on turn 9, you'll still get that because it's after the 9th turn, but you won't see it until like the 10th turn.
Mm-hmm.
And he only gets it one time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that needs to be pointed out for people, because sometimes these passive skills can be a little bit misleading, which we have another one of those situations to go over with the 5-year LR units about how the passive is misleading.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, that sums up the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku, that EZAs. Like I said, he'll be coming out February 10th, 2020. So just look forward to that, and yeah. Moving on to the next thing to talk about. Wait, actually, did this go backwards? I think this went backwards. But yeah, so other things to touch up on, unless I got the wrong links again.
We're on strength coatings. Yeah, we're right. These aren't out yet either.
Yeah, these are coming out.
Yep, next
Same day.
week.
Yeah.
Yep, and then these aren't new EZAs. We're not stones for them. You have to go through and spend stamina and
Yeah.
SS3 Go Tanks event for these two.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Dude, me and Anthony were talking about it earlier before the podcast, and I was like, "What are you talking about this EZA? He's already out." But now that you say you have to use those medals to awaken the new ones, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, really, these two are here just to point out that we have 2 more EZAs coming in the next week.
Yeah, I was just looking for the actual event, so they were able to see which event that I was talking about, not so much the unit.
If you scroll down to where it says acquired, where it says Dreams
Oh, okay, I got you.
Dreams Awakening, it'll
I got you.
itself. But this is an old event that we has been around
Yeah.
since June of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
these units are worth the EZA, in my personal opinion. It
Yeah.
just makes fusions like that much more amazing than it already is.
Yeah, me and Anthony were talking before the stream as well. Me and Anthony talked to it for the stream. I don't know if you guys caught that. But we were talking about the Seal Tank, specifically the Fizz one. And I mean, we were saying he's already on that team anyway. And again, it's just going to make the team better.
Yeah.
He already was.
Honestly, I use him as a staple on the team, to be honest. Like, if I'm running an entire Fusions team, I'm literally throwing just Go Tanks on it regardless. So again, to kind of go through other things as well, we're going to basically just give you guys the rundown of what he's like when they EZA. So we're going to start with the Strength Go Tanks. He is a Strength type, Ki +2, HP attack and defense +70%. Basically, he becomes the God Lead. He also raises attack and defense for 1 turn and causes supreme damage to enemy with a medium chance to stunning the enemy. And his raises SA multiplier is 30% for 1 turn. So overall, for me, I never really used this unit, but with the EZA, I might start considering throwing him. I still might use Ghost Tanks personally, but
Ghost Tanks.
that's just because I have him, I guess, rainbowed and things like that. But again, at the end of the day, for me, team building and everything else really does come down to preference, unless it's an event that really does require you to use units. So things like the Legendary Goku event, Super Battle Road, Boss Rush, or not really Boss Rush, but like the bigger events out there, things that require you to use certain things. I wouldn't see myself using this specific Go Tanks, but obviously with every EZA, units just outshine their previous selves in my opinion, and I like when they do things like this with the EZAs. His passive skill is attack and defense plus 80% and all allies Ki +1, and attack and defense plus 40% when facing 2 or more enemies. So again, probably only really good for specific events in terms of getting his passive off. Obviously, if you're running just simple events, you're not really going to be able to see much of this, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think now is the time to talk about the real Go Tanks again that Trevor and I were talking about, because this is probably one of my favorite units in Fusion's category, minus the Gogetas. So he becomes an all types Ki +3 lead with HP attack and defense plus 77%. He causes immense damage to enemy and seals enemy super attack. Again, just probably one of my favorite mechanics in the game. I've always enjoyed sealing super units. Personally, one of my favorite units way back in the day was literally the physical Bardock before I ended up getting Gotenks. Um, Passive skill attack plus 120% when performing a super attack, and key plus 1 up to 3, and defense plus 30% up to 120% with each super attack performed. So it pays off to get him a super, but with fusions, you're almost guaranteed a super every rotation, anyways.
Oh yeah,
So
Fuse Fighter would be.
definitely a really strong unit now. Then he's obviously a strong unit naturally, but with this, he becomes, in my opinion, even more stronger unit and more reliable in terms of using him for fusions.
For the seal tanks, he was a staple for Fusion's SBR, and just to see that they were
Yep.
like, you know what, he's good and he's a staple, but let's go ahead and power him up even more.
Yep.
That to me was like, oh my gosh. The moment I saw this drop on JP was the moment I won't lie, I squealed like a girl at a boy band concert. Like BTS squealing. I was so happy. And I'm not even a Gotenks fan. But this unit is just so freaking good.
Yep.
And to give him the EZA, to give him that stat boost that he has, to give him better defense and just better overall, I was like astounded. One of my favorite EZAs right now. And maybe I'm one of the only ones, but I absolutely love the fact he got one.
I think I could make an argument, honestly, that this might be my favorite Gotenks in the game. Not the best Gotenks, but my favorite Gotenks in the game.
Man, those are fighting words.
Seriously, I'm not saying best because mathematically that's just not true. But I mean, for the amount that I've used this unit, like back in the day, long before EZAs were a thing. Yeah, this guy was a staple on so many teams. He was so useful in Hybrid Saiyans. I think on my old account, he's one of the main reasons why I beat Majin Buu Saga. I mean, just his ability to seal at the time was so powerful. Now you're adding in all that extra defense, extra key. The guy is just going to be
Yeah.
a powerhouse. Like not damage wise, but he's going to protect your team with that seal, and he's not going to be paper when he gets hit anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I pretty much agree with all of them too. It may not be the best Gotenks, but it is definitely my favorite Gotenks in the game, if I have to be honest with you guys as well. Literally, I've been using this unit since I got it. Never regretted rainbowing this unit. And there's just not much else to say about it, honestly. It's just goes without saying. He's just becomes so much better in terms of a staple. But to run you guys through the rest of his stuff, his link skills are Golden Warrior, Super Saiyan, Prepared for Battle, the Innocence, Fused Fighter, the Saiyan Lineage, and Fierce Battle. Pretty much what we've expected. Fusion, Hybrids, Majin Buu Saga Youth, and Super Saiyans are his categories, so he fits on quite a number of teams. For me personally, Fusions has always been my favorite category team, so with this, I'm going to be super excited to have another level 140 unit just on my Fusions team in general, between the Gotenk, Super Saiyan 3, and the Gogeta, so I'm going to be running a really fun team for myself personally, but also, before we switch over to the next thing, I think after this we are finally going to start talking about some quick things in JP. I don't think we're going to be discussing too much on it, though, if I'm not mistaken.
And we're not going to go over like every single detail of what's going on in JP. We're going to cover units and banners and things that are pertinent to global to look forward to. I think is really what we're. I mean, because like, yeah, we can go over each individual thing that's campaign, but I figure we're going to do that when that campaign actually comes to global.
Yeah. And then, obviously, if you guys are not aware of this as well, you can raise this Gotenks' SA. This does require you to summon for the the Tech SR Kid Goten Super Saiyan, and then the Intelligence Trunks, which you Dokkan Awaken. It is a nasty farm, honestly, but at the same time, it is still a way to raise the SA if you don't want to use Elder Kais. It is 21 medals per one that you do, so if you have extras just sitting in your box and you may not already farmed the Gotenks, 21 medals of that is honestly really easy, at least in my opinion, especially in the state of the game that it's in right now. It's just so worth it to do if you want to just save Kais for other units that are potentially out there. But now, like Alex said, I think it is time that we start discussing just a bit of the units on JP. So we're obviously going to start talking about the LRs and the other things. The Bardock. We're going to talk about the Trunks. We're going to talk about the banners, the Bardock Gogine, and everything else. So with Gogeta, he is a last resort and fusions category key +3 HP attack and defense plus 150%. He raises attack, and causes colossal damage to enemy, and he basically raises attack by 30%, and that's, I'm pretty sure, an infinite stack as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is. If it doesn't specifically say in the super attack description that it's for a set number of turns,
Right.
you can safely assume it's an infinite stack for 99.
And then also raises attack by 30% for the same thing. Passive skill. Go ahead. Well, that's from his 18 key. That's from his 18 key.
So he raises his attack on both his 12 and his 18 key.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I should have actually
He's a really-
specified that, but
He's a really attacky boy.
Yep.
as most Gogetas are.
Mm-hmm.
Passive skill, attack and defense was 70%, key +3 when attacking, and launches an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super attack. That percent chance is a 25% chance, by the way. And then he also has a high chance of a 50% chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attacks, as a third attacker in the turn. And then he transforms when his conditions are met. And then, if you're wondering what his transforming conditions are, he basically transforms starting from the 4th turn of the battle. So, I actually don't really know anything about these units, so I'm kind of going to rely a lot more heavily on Alec about this, because I know he was talking about something about being misleading. Is this more so for Vegeta or Gogeta?
It actually affects them both.
Okay.
Because they both have that extra attack that they do.
Mm-hmm.
So they launch that additional attack. So when you use their active skill, the turn that you use their active skill will go off. You'll do your attacks like normal. You'll get whatever attack you get for your key. You'll get the additional attack for that attack, but then on top of that, you also get an additional attack for when you performed the active skill attack. So on the turn that you perform your active skill attack, you get the active skill, your regular attack, 2 bonus attacks, and then you get your hidden potential chance.
Yeah.
And that's only on the turn that you perform the active skill, and most likely the active skill is going to kill whatever you're going to fight. But on the off chance that it lives, that Gogeta and Vegito are just going to do nuts damage that turn.
And one thing I want to point out too is that, you know, this is one of the, I think this is actually, like, I think besides maybe one unit, the first time we actually just have a flat turn-based transformation. I think besides Trunks and Zamasu, these are the first LRs with just a flat transform, and I'm just...
Yeah, no conditions.
Yeah, and Trunks and Zamasu aren't even LRs, so yeah, these are, I believe, the first LRs that have an additional condition other than just turn.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And it's in just... We'll get to the Vegito here in a bit, but with just what this unit can do, like, it works so well, obviously in fusions, we hear his last resort and such, but he works almost in tandem with the Vegito.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could put them in the 1 and 2 slots respectively, and they'll just feed off of each other, and you're just supering galore. It's ridiculous what these units can do, and it made my brain hurt when I was streaming the 5th year anniversary stream and saw these units come out. But I was just, oh my god, I would go through so many migraines ugh. These units are so good. Sorry, kind of wet myself a little bit, but.
So you need a tissue.
Oh, I think I need a blanket.
Maybe a power washer.
So, maybe power wash. But yes, they're so good, and honestly, like, you'll see with Vegito too how both of these units are just so goddamn good.
Yeah, and also, like we said earlier, this LR is farmable from the Last Resort Gogeta right here. He is a farmable unit, so you don't even really need to waste Kai's until he's LR'd if you want to get him to SA20. So if you don't have this already farmed definitely farm it when it comes out to global. Pre-farm this now so you don't have to do this later. Having the extra Gogetas, or well, I don't even think it's out right now, but when it is out, it's definitely something to look into farming, or those who may have already had it pre-farmed, things like that. Those people are definitely going to be, already set for it. So
That event is out right now on global.
okay,
Yep.
so then yeah,
yes, farm it
definitely
now.
get on the farm.
Farm it now.
Yeah, guys, you've only got 5 months to get ready for this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
farm it now.
Only 5 months.
Do it.
All right, so I think without further ado, it's time to get to Vegito.
Are you gonna talk about this transformation, or did we talk about that already?
Oh,
Actually,
well,
we
I mean, it's his transformation. Okay, when oh, I see what you were saying there earlier, Trevor, before stream. So yeah, you were right. In the transformation form, he does raise his attack and defense in.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what
Mhm.
I was. I thought that.
So, and then on his 18 key, he just raises his defense. So yeah, both of these units are going to be phenomenal for the longer events. You know, you're going to get
Yeah.
your Dragon Ball histories, your uh, legendary Gokus, those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there you guys have it. And this is for both, I'm assuming, Gogeta and Vegito. For their
Vegito,
skills.
Vegito is, yeah, they both work basically the same way.
Right.
They do the attack when they're in base form, and then attack and defense on their 12 key in transform state, with defense
Mm-hmm.
on their 18 key.
Mhm.
So I think it really comes down to when you look at their transform passives to figure out which one's better. But let's cover Vegito before we go figuring out which
Yeah.
one's better.
Alright, so Vegito, obviously same thing as before. Last Resort and Patara category rather than Fusions. Key +3, HP attack and defense +150. He raises attack and causes colossal damage to enemy, and that is a 30% chance for the 12 and 17 key super. And then it becomes a 30% chance for the 18 key super. His passive skill is attack and defense +70%, key +3 when when attacking and launches an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super attack, which is a 25% chance, and then a high chance of 50% of evading an enemy's attack, including a super attack, as a third attacker in the turn. And then obviously transforms when conditions are met. Um, and pretty much his transformation starts from the fourth turn from the start of the battle, and yeah, so that's pretty much what Vegito does. Link skills are Same Warrior Raise, Brainiacs, Powered Bestowed by God, Over in a Flash, Fuse Fighter, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. And then categories are Realm of Gods, Patara, Future Saga, Transformation Boost, Time Travelers, Kamehameha, and Last Resort. So that is all the information on Vegito, and now we can see the ultimate debate of which one we feel is better with the transformation. Again, I don't know anything about these units. I haven't looked into anything on JP in a long time, so
Same
It's
here.
it's really splitting hairs. Mathematically, Gogeta's going to end up doing more damage. I believe Vegito is going to be slightly more tanky. Um, so for me personally, I'm going to lean towards Vegito being the better of the two because I prefer defense. You know, I
mm-hmm.
prefer taking smaller numbers instead of putting out bigger numbers.
Mhm.
I feel but then again, that's kind of like my own personal style because like even in like MMOs, I'm always a tank. I don't care about putting out big numbers. I care about killing my enemy with atrophy.
Yeah. The one thing to note about these two units is that before transformation, they're almost identical.
Mm-hmm.
Just differences in super attack. But when they transform, Gogeta does what every Gogeta card always does, is effective against all types, while Vegito does multiple attacks. Um, I'm leaning more towards Vegito myself because of the fact that each of those additional attacks can be supers, which in my opinion he could do more damage than Gogeta then. However, because Gogeta is effective against all types, that's where in certain circumstances Gogeta is going to outdamage Vegito, especially when Vegito is going against an int enemy. He's not going to do that much damage. But to be quite honest, Vegito will like 9 times out of 10 out damage Gogeta in my personal opinion, and with a defense like just phenomenal.
I
But
agree.
they're both very much worth going for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you're just gonna see consistently high output, like individual attack numbers from Go because of that effective against all types.
Yeah.
I agree. And then obviously to continue going over, I think someone else pointed this out in chat. It is also important to note that Vegito does not have warrior gods after he transforms.
That does kind of suck, but at the same time,
And
like I don't
realistically,
think it's gonna
I
be,
mean,
I don't
warrior
think it's gonna
gods
be
is
over.
only a 10% attack. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we have characters that in their passive are giving 50% to the whole rotation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if for you warrior gods is part of your build, part of your strategy, part of your attack boost, I can see why that would be bad. But in general use, unless you're trying to milk every last drop of damage you can out of the unit, the loss of warrior gods is neither here nor there, in my opinion.
Right. So I guess that leads us to the final question. Which unit do you guys feel is your more go-to unit for 5-year for global when they do come around?
Vegito.
I mean, if I'm forced, if you had a gun to my head and you say you could on one banner, we're gonna have to talk about the banners first.
Right.
I mean, because if it's just strictly individual unit, I'm going with Vegito. But we need to look at the banners for the value statement there.
So we're gonna cover up basically the other two units, Trunks and Mai, and then Bardock and Gine before we actually go into the discussion of the full banners. So I think that we covered enough for Gogeta and Vegito, so that will bring us now to talking about the Trunks and Mai, who are a joined forces category. They are a joined forces category key plus 3 HP attack and defense plus 120, or they also are an AGL key plus 3 and HP attack and defense plus 70%, with the added addition that they also greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, and then cause supreme damage to enemy. Obviously, again, I feel like some of these units, just for me, aren't units that I ever care to pull. In my opinion, they're just an added bonus. That's pretty much how it is with any banner for me, to be honest. But anyways, getting back to the unit, he is attacking are attack and defense plus 100%, key plus 3 plus an additional attack and defense plus 100% when there is an ally whose name includes Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan on the team, plus an additional attack plus 100% when there is a Future Saga category enemy, plus an additional key plus 3 and attack plus 100% and performs a critical hit when there is an enemy who includes Zamasu and or Goku Black in the name.
Jesus
To,
Christ.
to put it in perspective, if you have a Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan on your team and you are facing a Zamasu and Goku Black, that is a 400% boost in attack alone. I think it's 300 in defense, but 200 in defense and 400% additional attack.
Corporate God, no.
Just like this unit, and by extension the Bardock and Gine, because the one thing they do every anniversary that irritates, duplicate the character and change a couple things. I don't feel it's very creative. That's just my own personal nitpick. But the way these guys are set up with their passives, I think they're going to be a lot more impressive than people credit for.
Alright.
Just passive alone. Yeah. It's just, I saw that and I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, they really want you to spend all your stones on 5th year. Understandably so. And these units make you just go, I need these now and I need to start damage testing. Like, it's just bizarre. With, it's very specific, obviously. It's very niche. But think of it as, like, if you're running this in a Future Saga team, you're still getting a 200% boost.
Yeah.
On the team regardless, with plus 3 key, 200% to both attack and defense. And then you just have them for situations like the Future Saga SBR. And this dude...
just speechless.
It's so excessive.
Alright.
It's so...
So we're gonna get into the active skill now as well. He raises attack by 628% temporarily and performs a critical hit. He stuns enemies and halves own defense within the same turn. Can be activated when your team has an ally who includes Trunks' Teen Future, Trunks' Future, and or My Future, attacking in the same turn, excluding self. Starting from the third turn from the start of the battle, and it's once only that you can use that.
What are with these damn units with the novel, dude? Like, my eyes hurt, physically hurt, reading this entire thing. Okay, so what does temporarily mean? Why don't
Temporarily,
they
I
say
believe
one
just-
turn, 2 turns, 3 turns?
that's a very good question because there's no actual
That's vague.
clarification. I would assume that it's temporarily, as in for the active skill attack only.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Oh,
think
gotcha,
it raises
so,
his
like-
attack by 628% for the whole turn.
Oh, okay.
I'm not 100% on that. I could be wrong, but that's the impression that I'm getting by reading the active skill.
It is for one turn, so think of it like Tech Master Roshi, where he does the Mafuba. It's the same exact thing, but in an active skill. So you could still attack afterwards. That's the thing.
Yeah, so
for
it would.
that turn, he has that temporary boost.
Okay, then why didn't they just say raises?
Chat's just
attack by
saying one
620%
attack.
for one
Yeah,
turn?
they're saying it's for the one attack.
Yeah.
I'm leading to believe chat.
I agree.
But again, I don't know.
Oh,
It's
not
really
the whole
vague.
turn? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But
we're not
either way,
Bandai
like,
spies,
still-
so.
I'm looking forward to playing with them and figuring it out.
Well, think
Yeah.
of it this way: like, if you have the same turn with all those things, that's a 1,028% boost in attack.
Yeah,
Mhm.
even if
That's
it's
just
just for the
ridiculous.
one attack, that attack's gonna end the.
Yeah.
It's gonna be-
I mean, okay,
100%.
can we go ahead and speculate that this attack might be stronger than Super Saiyan God Goku Kaioken's attack?
No.
His active skill?
Maybe if it's performed the moment it. But if you give Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku any amount of time to build up his attack through his super attack, he's gonna outdamage these guys every single time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you think so? Even with a 1,000% increase, that's crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, because if you think about it, that Goku is raising his by 50%, his attack by 50% every time he super attack. With enough additional, you super attack 2 times a turn. You know, if you get lucky enough, do that for 4 or 5 turns in a row. Nothing is gonna damage that Spirit Bomb.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. That's true.
Alright, so before we transition, also, just give you guys the extra little doodably note. His link skills are Brainiac, Cold Judgment, Courage, Dismal Future, Prepared for Battle, Rival, Duo, and Fierce Battle. And his categories that you can throw him on will be Future Saga, Time Travelers, Joint Forces, and Last Resort. And I think we pretty much covered everything else with Trunks and the Trunks and Mai, honestly.
Let's just low key throw some love to Brainiacs. I know I was saying earlier that a 10% attack wasn't that big.
Mhm.
That's not why Brainiacs is so good. It also gives you 10% defense, which
Mhm.
10% defense is massive when you're talking about trying to squeeze every ounce of survivability out of a team. The reason I say attack 10% isn't as important in my opinion is because when you're doing 12 million damage, does it really matter if you do 12 million 1,200 damage or 12 million flat? You know what I'm saying? I mean, at that point, the difference is negligible, but a 10% increase to your character's defense plus, whatever other bonuses you have from the turn,
Mhm.
that's going to mitigate quite a bit more damage than, or it's going to, the effect of the mitigated damage is going to have a greater effect on your team than the damage output from the 10% attack, in my opinion.
I agree.
True.
Alright, so
Here.
moving on to Bardock and Gine, who is a Movie Heroes category, Key plus 3 HP attack and defense plus 120%, or a Strength type, Key plus 3 HP attack and defense plus 70%. He greatly raises attack for 1 turn and causes supreme damage to enemy, that being a 50% defense as well for that 1 turn. And then he's attack and defense plus 100%, Key plus 3, plus an additional attack and defense plus 100% when there is an ally who includes Goku on the team. Ginyu and Junior, are excluded from this, of course. Plus an additional attack plus 100% when there is a movie bosses category enemy. plus an additional key plus 3 and attack plus 100%, and then performs a critical hit when there is an enemy whose name includes Frieza, and then obviously Frieza soldiers, etc. will be excluded from that as well.
That's a 400% boost to any Frieza event.
Mm-hmm. Pretty
just
much.
Bardock and Gine. And my favorite part of this card isn't anything to do with, the abilities. That card art is so, like, you look at it and it just, for me, it just warms my heart.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I don't know what it is, but I always get a smile when I see this card art.
I agree with you. Like, we need more Bardock and Gine. We
Mhm.
do. I mean, I know a lot of people weren't very happy when Minus came out, but the retelling of Minus during the Broly movie, I fell in love with the whole idea of changing the story of the Saiyans to where they weren't just bloodthirsty, that they actually had a class system. Some people were soldiers, some people were cooks. It makes it feel more like a real society than just a barbaric kill everything culture.
Yeah. And I agree, I totally like that about that too. It definitely
And-
raised hype for this unit, honestly. In a good way.
Yeah. And the active skill is adorable, by the way, because you look at the active skill and it's called Gine support. But if you like watch the actual active skill, it's so adorable. Gine is an underrated waifu. Just saying, guys.
Yeah, I need a standalone Gine on
Yep.
Happy Gals. Just
Yep.
kidding.
Agreed. Gine and Chile, please.
I'm just gonna throw out and say that I had zero idea this unit existed till just now.
Hey,
I mean,
man,
it's
that's fair
basically-
enough.
it's
That's
the
fair
exact
enough.
Same thing
Get
as the
out.
Trunks and
Get
Yeah.
out now.
I mean, like I was saying before, they do this all the time with the SS from last. They're essentially the same with just a couple of details flipped. Goku
Mhm.
gets attack, but he gets more defense off of his super attack. Vegeta gets defense in his passive, but gets more attack off of his super attack. I mean, and their super attacks are basically identical, which I can't say for this year, but I mean, if you go back and look at it, traditionally, the anniversary units are just copy pastas.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
I
hate
have
it.
no objection. I have no objections.
I will say that now that I know this unit exists, it just fuels my need to make a. I've been wanting to make a Goku family team that's actually Goku's entire family. So this would be definitely for that team.
Goku's
It'd be
family
really
throughout
cool.
the generations.
Yeah, like you'd have Goku, Gohan, Goten,
Mhm.
Chi-Chi.
Bardock, and Chi-Chi. Yeah, you'd have everybody on his family. Raditz, if I could fit him. I don't know. But
Well,
trying to
that's-
get everybody
that's
on there
six.
would be cool.
Yeah.
That's 6 right there.
You could make an all Saiyan or half Saiyan Goku family team. Leave that Chi-Chi out.
Leave Chi-Chi out.
I mean, I'm okay
Sorry,
with that.
Chi-Chi.
That strength Chi-Chi's good. She seals and everything, but let's be real here. She's not really gonna fit on the team.
No.
No,
She's
not at
gonna
all.
link.
You know,
What about Chi-Chi as a kid? I don't know.
that physical
Yeah,
kid Chi-Chi, but I don't think she's on Goku's family at that point. She doesn't. She doesn't.
Oh no,
I think there's only one Goku's family Chi-Chi, isn't there? Just the strength one.
it might just be the strength. I don't have the physical one, so I don't know what she does. That makes
Oh,
sense.
Let's see.
I
here.
think the physical one was at the world tournament just before they got
Just
married.
before they got married, yeah. So that
Mhm.
one's not gonna count. The world tournament one.
All right, well, cool. We can do a full Saiyans then.
Yeah, it does look like that's the only Chi-Chi in Goku's family, is the strength one. Oh no, nope, that physical one is in there. The one from the World Martial Arts Tournament, that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
weird.
Boom.
Well, I mean, granted, in the same sense, that Chi-Chi, the STR Chi-Chi, is like right after she reminds Goku who she is. So technically, that shouldn't even be.
Well, no, that the strength Chi-Chi has the Bancho fan, which means it's after the, because she didn't have that at the end of,
Yeah,
at
true.
the end of Dragon Ball.
True, I forgot about that.
That's when they went and they saw Grandpa Gohan again. I can't remember all that happened in that part.
Mm-hmm.
The only time Chi-Chi was tolerable.
Either way, Chi-Chi or
Just
Raditz.
Dragon Ball. All of Dragon Ball, I loved Chi-Chi. Dragon Ball Z, she became every wife I never wanted.
But yeah, so to get into the rest of his skills and links and everything like that, his active skill reads as restores all allies status and allies on all allies, attack plus 22% for 2 turns and can be activated when HP is 80 or less. 80%, or less. starting from the fourth turn of the start of the battle. Link's skills are Saiyan Warrior Race, Saiyan Lineage, Saiyan Pride, Cold Judgment, Prepared for Battle, Experienced Fighters, and Fierce Battle. And then categories that you can throw him on are Pure Saiyan, Joined Forces, Movie Heroes, and Goku's Family. Personally, I think if any team I'm running him on would definitely be for me just Goku's Family, because that's arguably becoming one of my most favorite teams over Fusions. Especially in recent months, it's been just a team, or it's just been like a category that I've personally enjoyed throughout my entirety of playing since I got
I agree.
the LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku over on JP. So if I ever pull this Bardock unit, I'm definitely gonna try to fit him in there no matter what, somewhere, just for the sake of the card in general and being a Bardock fan as well. You know, just I have a different agenda in terms of playing than a lot of other players to Dokkan. So, but definitely overall, I think this is still a worth it unit to just slap on a team if you're just wanting to just mess around and not, or well, I mean they don't mess around, but if you just want to mess around, just build whatever type of team you want. Like this is a unit to definitely just have on there just for the sake of it, you know?
Yeah.
This unit makes me low key excited for movie hero battle because you
Agreed.
know you're gonna face movie boss character.
Yes, 100%.
You know, and you know Freeze is gonna be in at least one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
this will probably be. I'm not gonna say a required unit, but a highly valued unit if when we get the when we get the movie Heroes Super Battle Road.
I agree.
Also, that support active skill. Um, there's not a whole lot of events where we have to worry about status effects on ourselves, but like let's say you're in one of those ones where it rotations.
Mm-hmm.
The active skill removes that, and you can fix your rotation.
That's
Mm-hmm.
true. A lot, and what SBR does that? There's an SBR that does that, locks you in place.
I don't think SBR does that, but there's several Dokkan events that do it, and there might be some EZAs. I don't know.
Yeah, there's only a um couple of events that do it, but it's not.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Like
not
there's a
super.
Shenron, and there's something else. I
Yeah,
can't
maybe I'm
remember.
thinking of Shinron.
But this makes me think that that's on the horizon, because I think this is gonna start being a part of like a new minor meta, where you have at least a restoring teammate, not a healer, but a restorer of like any status ailments, and that's something that I think maybe Dokkan might be going towards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
another thing this kind of makes me think is that when you look at active skills for future units that are coming out, again, we're not going to know what all is going to have an active skill before it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're interested in what kinds of things they can do with active skills to make it really interesting, go look at your item box.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally anything that an item does, they could work into an active skill.
Yep.
Because we've got right here, you've basically got that stupid plant that removes
Yep.
your status effects.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then it's also got like an attack boosting item type of deal to it. I mean,
The fact
basically, support or attack is not just what your active skills can be anymore. There can be new effects, is what I'm saying. Like in the future, maybe we'll have an active skill that changes orb colors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be cool, dude.
Wouldn't it?
I agree.
Ah, that would be so cool.
That's the most.
I want that now, dude. Why do you put that in my mind? Now let me think about it for. I don't remember. That's all. That's my whole day now.
But that's what's so great about Dokkan right now is that I don't see really a regression when it comes to like all the new stuff they added with fifth year. I'm seeing more progression for like the players that have been there for a long time, and an easy way to explain it for new players that come in.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a very good evolution, and I like with the card with this one in particular with its active skill. I like where this is going because now you got to put more thought into your teams when you go into the newer events, or at least that's going to be my prediction this coming year. Is that we're going to see a lot of status ailments. We're going to see a lot of different active skills that are either situational, or it's going to make the whole team aspect of Dokkan just shake.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah, and that's why I think that this game has a lot of years to go. I've been hearing a lot of rumors in the world that this game's not going to last a few more years, but I think if they do it right, this game's got plenty of years left.
I
It
agree.
can't. The only reason it'll die is if our love of Dragon Ball Z dies, and that's never going to happen.
I say financially, it's tied. It's in a three-way tie, top 10 mobile games as far as revenue are concerned. At least as of this year. I don't know if we've gotten any new up. But dude, this like what I saw a thing on Twitter this morning, and I had to comment. Somebody, if Dokkan wasn't as popular as it was, people would be dead. And
Yeah.
my only response to that was I literally retweeted it and said, things were different, they wouldn't be the same. You know, because yeah, if Dragon Ball wasn't popular, Dokkan wouldn't exist. Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, right.
That doesn't really add anything, and you're basing your speculation off of the only reason this game is still alive is because the IP is popular. Of course, that's the only reason this game is still alive. You're just freaking popping bubbles,
Yeah,
you know.
that's true.
But keep in mind, this is an over 30-year-old franchise. It's not going away anytime soon.
I agree. 100% agreed.
It's so funny because I saw that same tweet and I couldn't help but just laugh and then kind of slightly facepalm to go, why do people say the shit that they say? I just don't understand.
You
Like,
don't even think about it.
you state the obvious and it's like, really? Like how long did that take you to think up there, Copernicus? You know, did you look up at the sun and build the sundial to figure out exactly what made like Dokkan Battle popular? Like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I can guarantee you, it's not the gameplay.
I
Guarantee it's not the gameplay. I
Do
mean,
you think I want to sit here all day popping bubbles? No! I don't want to sit here and pop bubbles all day, but I need to
take a
look at
second, go
stuff.
back to the dark days of Dokkan.
Shit, then
When
I need a new
literally
hobby.
The only thing that carried this game was the IP.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have good teams, didn't have good leader skills, didn't have awesome animations. You know, literally the first 3 years of this game's life was carried by the IP. Now that they've realized that people actually value the IP, they're putting more into the game. We're getting better units, better leader skills, better passive skills. We're getting active skills. We're getting way better animations.
I agree.
Oh, the animations are getting clean, dude.
The supers on the new Gogeta, and sorry, we were just done. We were talking about Bardock and all that, but I forgot to mention this: the supers and the active skills and the transformations on the new LRs. Oh, I saw that, and I just on stream, I just sat there just watching it, and I couldn't say anything. I was like,
You needed a towel.
"Oh, dude, I needed
We're gonna go back to that joke.
I was using buckets and buckets. I was like, this is ridiculous."
I just lined my entire room with paper towels before live stream. Let's just
It's like that South Park episode where the internet goes down and Randy goes into the tent. And it's just everywhere. Yeah, that's how I was. It was
Pretty
just-
much.
If you guys ever get the chance, if you haven't looked at them yet, you'll look at them and you feel like it's literally like they've done it with units so far, but it legitimately feels like it's just ripped from the anime. It's so good.
Yeah.
I agree. So I think before we finally put an end to
Alright, okay.
the podcast, I think it is time to at least showcase the banners because I know Alec wanted to talk about more on this as well. So we're pretty much just going to touch up on the banners as well. So what you get out of Gogeta's banner, obviously the two main featured units that we just talked about and discussed are the Gogeta and the Bardock and Gine. Also featuring on the banner we have the Intelligence Cell, we have the OG Gogeta, or Goku and Vegeta, the LR Gogeta. We have Gogeta Blue, Dragon Ball Super Broly, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Strength Omega Shenron, Int Gogeta, Int Janemba, and then SRs will vary between Cell, Omega Shenron, or Sin Shenron that goes to Omega if I'm not mistaken, and Janemba that also goes to the Super Janemba. So that is what the banner is like for JP. Is there anything else that you would like to bring up as well, Alec, on this?
I think whoever made these banners was drunk. Like,
These-
it doesn't really follow the concept of how dual Dokkan Fest banners are, right? Like,
Mhm.
first off, looking at the Gogeta banner, your 2 new featured units on the same banner are that's weird in and of itself. Okay?
Yeah.
Secondly, you've got both the movie Broly units on the same banner. And if you flip over and look at the Vegito banner, he's got Trunks and Zamasu. Like,
Yep.
I feel like in most dual Dokkan Fest, they would split those units up. Like, I mean, obviously when we have like an extreme and a super one, it's easy to split up like that. But in this situation, I don't know. Again, I'm just nitpicking here, but it feels like an awkward thing to me. Like to have, because it just makes one banner so much better than the other one. Like, let's say you went ham on Gogeta and Broly. All right.
Mhm.
And you didn't pull Trunks and Zamasu, that automatically bumps up the value of one banner over the other. I feel
Yeah.
like they should have split those two up, like had, you know, both of the extreme units on one banner, both of the super units on the other banner. I
Yeah.
don't know. But I just feel like, personally, I feel like one banner is superior to the other, and I'll reveal which one that is later.
Mhm.
They did that for. I think they did that. Okay, they did that for Cell and Go, right? They split the super up with the extreme because one's a super and one's extreme, right? But in this case, they're both super, so it's kind of hard to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of hard. I understand why they did it this way because it's difficult to split those up. You're like, okay, what do we do?
It also feeds into a theme. You've got one that's a future saga, and you've got, so I understand that, but just from, like I said, looking back at past ones where they've separated the more hype units from each other to kind of entice, like, but again, I think it was easier to say which one of the featured units was better in the past. Like, it's easy to say that Goku was better than Vegeta last year.
Mhm.
It's just easy to say that because of how their passes worked, how their super attacks worked. These two are so close in all aspects that there's not really one that's heads and shoulders better than the other one. So I would have thought that they would have really spiced up your secondary units, like really changed those things up a bit. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's just me. But as far as the value of each one of the banners, again, depending on your box, I definitely see value in both banners, but I do feel that one is better for me personally than the other.
I agree.
So
And
this is Gogeta's we're looking at right now.
yes,
Yeah.
this is. So actually, now that we bring that up, it is time to transition over to Vegito's banner and tell you guys the rundown on those units. So obviously, like, again, we touched up on the Vegito Trunks. They are on this banner as well. Other units are the LR AGL Gohan and LR Goku Vegeta. That is basically LR Super Vegito. That honestly blows my mind there, to be honest. But continuing on with the list, we do have the Tech Feature Trunks, the AGL Zamasu, Merge Zamasu, VB Physical Super Vegito, or excuse me, I meant to say SSB Vegito, Physical Super Vegito, Transforming Boo, and then the SR AGL Zamasu.
SR Zamasu coming in clutch.
SR Zamasu, who has absolutely no purpose now that we're going to have him.
Yeah, Farrell,
Yeah,
now
basically.
Zamasu is just like, oh, here, bye. There's no point to him. But, just. Ugh.
Okay, yeah, like you were saying, depends on your box, and I 100% believe that for sure because Gogeta, I don't need anybody on Gogeta at all. Not one unit. I could literally it's Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, I guess. I don't have him, but I really don't care. But this box, I don't have Gohan, I don't have Zamasu, I don't have Super Vegito, and I would absolutely adore to have dupes for all the other ones. So
Well, I mean,
I'm
and
fine
then
with, yeah.
if you want to go unit by unit and compare, okay, so let's not even look at the new units because we don't have those. We're not looking at the Gogeta, Vegito. We're not looking at the Trunks and the. Just looking at what we've already had on Global. I think the Vegito banner is superior if you compare unit to unit. So I think Agility Gohan is a better unit than Intelligence Cell.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Intelligence Goku and Vegeta is better than the physical Goku and Vegeta.
That's up in the air, though. I don't know
Well, okay. Especially after they transform and one counterattacks and the other one doesn't. That's really more for me where
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I think Trunks is a better unit than. Again, this is for how I play, and I do a lot of stuff where I use defense. So I think the transforming Trunks is a better unit than the movie Gogeta. Not for damage output, but for how I play the game. I hate that agility is Zamasu, so we're gonna give that win to Broly. Tech Zamasu, when he gets his EZA, is probably going to be better than SS4 Gogeta. We know we're getting the EZA for physical Vegito Blue, which is probably going to make him better than the EZA for Strength Omega Shenron. The Intelligence Super Vegito completely lacks defense, whereas at least the physical Super Vegito has counterattacking, you know? So I think that makes him a slightly better unit. They're both kind of crap at the moment, really. I've never used the transforming Boo because I don't have him.
I don't either.
That's an easy loss to Janemba. Janemba's one of the best units.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Janemba kills it.
I mean, but really when you compare unit to unit, I would say the Gogeta banner only has 2 superior units to the Vegito banner. You know? And as far as my own personal, what I need more of, I'm going with Vegito because, I mean, sure, I don't have SS4 Gogeta either, and I don't have Strength Omega Shenron.
Yeah.
But I have all of these other units.
Yep.
Most of them with multiple dupes. And I went hard for Trunks and Zamasu, and I only got 1 copy.
To put the same example for me, like, honestly, I have value in both banners because in 300 mil I put like 1,500 stones in and I didn't get Cell or Gohan.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, whale shaft right there. But if you just look side by side, these are the best banners in Dokkan history. 3 Dokkan Fest LRs per banner. That is insane. And then you get like the dual exclusives that made the most money, and now they're like here they are again on the same banner for each one. Like your value for these banners are absolutely insane, and I recommend anybody who is free to play strictly and goes for just stones to save until 5th year. It's gonna kill me saying this. It's legitimately gonna kill me for saying this. Skip Cooler.
Wow.
If you are free to play.
Wow.
Okay.
You gonna do your boy like that?
I love STR Cooler. I swear by that unit, and as somebody who buys stones, I will still be summoning for that STR Cooler. But if you save your stones for these banners, you're going to be saving enough red coins to get yourself STR Cooler when he comes back. So honestly, like it's not an easy skip, but it's one of those things where if you don't want to put stones into it and you want really good units for your value of the free to play stones, you gotta think about skipping it.
I agree.
It's hard to do.
I agree.
Hard to do.
But keep in mind, guys, he is stressing the fact that he is talking about free to play.
Right.
Yeah,
I just want to point that out.
If you buy stones, go for Cooler.
I'm not sure if I'm about to throw water on this fire or gasoline, but here we go.
Oh god.
If you are 100% free to play, you never spend a single dime on this game. You refuse to spend money on this game. You should never summon on anything that isn't an anniversary, a download celebration, or a guaranteed step-up banner.
Sure.
I agree. I agree on that, honestly. I have
I'm
no
not joking.
objections.
If you want the most value for the few stones that you are given, those are the only 3 banners you should be pulling on. Yeah, LRs are pretty and nice and they put out big numbers, but if you want a consistently good box, the best value for your stones is to only summon on anniversaries, big celebrations where they give us like tickets and stuff, so like the 350 million download Christmas, and then like your LR New Year's step ups. Those are really the only banners as a completely free to play player if you are looking to maximize the value of your stone that you should be summoning on.
I 100% agree.
And kind of touch up because somebody's saying it in chat. He's saying for major celebrations, and the reason being is because you're getting look at these banners. Do you not? These consist of 3 of the major celebrations. You got 5th year. You got 300 million, or actually it's 4. You got the 5th year anniversary units. You have the 300 mil anniversary units. You have the 3rd year anniversary units, and not only that, but for each banner, you have the movie celebration units with Gogeta and Broly, and you have the December Christmas units with Trunks and Zamasu. Are we saying to wait? Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely.
We're saying to wait because those that literally makes your box go from a 5 to a 10.
Agreed.
Instantly.
Now, this is again, we are saying only if you are looking to maximize the best units you can get as a 100% strictly free to play player.
Yep. That's not for
that-
anyone who's
that's
casual
the-
pay to play.
Yeah, if you're a minnow, a dolphin, a whale, do what you do. You're spending money. You are making a choice that you believe there is enough value in this game to invest into it.
I
I'm
agree.
not going to tell you how to spend your money. That's not what I'm here to do. For the people who don't have the knowledge of the mechanics of the game, for the people who literally every time one of us streams asks us whether or not they should summon or whether or not they should farm a unit. I'm not joking, and I'm not upset by that. I love helping this community. That's the whole reason I put the podcast together in the first place, was because this information should be out there. I mean, it already is in other locations, but clearly people aren't getting it, so it needs more sources to get out.
Right.
But
Amen.
But really, spending your stones intelligently, and I think even intelligently is kind of a condescending way. Spending your stones efficiently as a free-to-play player literally means you're going to summon maybe 4 times a year. At best, 4 times a year. You've got your LR step-ups, you've got your download celebration, you've got Christmas, you've got anniversaries. Those are basically maybe Saiyan Day if they go crazy with Saiyan Day. 4 or 5 times a year that you should be spending stones.
I agree.
And that's it.
And probably even get all the units that you from the other banners anyway. Chances are pretty high that that's gonna happen.
I mean, because don't forget, how many times do they give us just flat out free summons? How many celebrations a year? Once or twice a year, you get a bunch of tickets and you can just summon units. Not always the greatest units, but if you are a strictly free-to-play player, you've probably missed a lot of those units over the years.
Yeah. Not only that, but as another thing too, just to kind of also give you guys something to think about in chat, this is also a 3-to-1 banner. So you buy 3, you get 1 free. So you're getting more for your stones than you may think just by I just save all my stones and that's it. You're also getting an extra summon every 3 multis. That's going to be amazing, and it's more value for your non-money accounts, free to play people's.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm gonna whale like I always do, and I'm always gonna put money into this game because I absolutely love it. So it doesn't matter for me. But if you're strictly free to play, go for this banner and this banner alone right now.
I agree.
I'm gonna throw it out there that I am 100% wailing for Cooler and Cooler alone, and whatever stones I have left over. Cool, I'll go for 5 year, but Cooler or nothing, okay?
I think that's actually a great segue into us talking about what we personally are planning to do, because we just gave you what free-to-play players should do for the most effective use of their stones. And like we said, we're not going to tell people who spend money how to play their money, but I'm sure people are curious as to what it is each of us are planning to do. So Trevor, you're saying you're going to summon on Cooler.
100%.
100% going to summon on Cooler.
I have no thought in my mind that I will not summon on Cooler. I will spend.
And you're going to wail on
wife
him until you get at least...
With how much money I'm going to spend on Cooler.
Okay. So For me personally, I'm also going to summon on cooler, but I'm not going to go more than the exception to that being if we get the tickets. Like I'm planning on buying the tickets for Gohan because I want Gohan. I do.
Mhm.
I don't have a hybrid Saiyans lead. I want it, but not a single stone of mine is going into this banner.
Yep.
In fact, I'm not spending stones on anything except for maybe 3 summons on cooler if he doesn't have tickets. Refreshing my stamina during the world tournament. Whatever's coming out on Seiya Day, if it's hype.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
it for the next 5 months for me. It's gonna kill my streams. I'm gonna have 0 content to and any new units to show off. And I'm letting everybody in the community know that right now that 5 months my streams are gonna suck. But you know what?
Nah.
My 5-year stream is gonna be fire as hell.
Yeah.
Imagine having somewhere north of 2,500 stones going into the 5-year.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be insane. For me personally, like I'm probably not gonna wail too hard on cooler, but I am gonna buy as many stones as I can, just so then that way I have the stones saved up for the 5th year. But I'm definitely not skipping cooler. I want at least 1 copy. I have been on the gravy train. I've been on
Cooler.
the train. Yeah, I've been on the train for cooler for so long, as people have heard in my streams. Like I've been an advocate saying, "Don't skip, even free to play, don't skip." But now that these 5th year anniversary stuff has come out, like I understand why people are saying skip.
Mhm.
I'm not though. I'm still gonna summon on that. I plan
That's
on
right.
summoning on freaking Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku.
That's
you
right.
know, 'cause
Tell 'em
that's
time.
gonna be double raids. Like
Tell
that's
'em.
gonna be.
Let's go.
I personally have nothing to add to it. For me, obviously, I don't plan to spend my stones. Like, here's the thing: I said I wasn't gonna summon on Future Gohan and Trunks. Look how that turned out. So for me, I might dump something in the cooler, but I'll probably just do 1 multi dip, even if I do or do not get cooler. It's gonna be it's definitely gonna be something that I don't really look too much into. I have to keep remembering about that, but so yeah, it's gonna be probably a one summon done type of deal for me, and then everything else from that point is gonna be for 5-year, just because I don't really ever have stones naturally. So, for again, if you're like me, who may not be a consistent free to play or even a pay to play player, because I kind of intertwine every now and again, yeah, just save your stones. Honestly, just wait for 5-year. I said I might even skip 5-year, but we'll see. We'll see how good it turns out for me later on, but I have no idea, to be honest. Yeah, no, I wailed on
Yeah.
3rd year. I did wail on 3rd year. Not even gonna lie
Let's
about
be
that.
honest. I think we all wailed on 3rd year. 3rd year was so good.
Dude,
I
I can't
wasn't
even
even playing
remember
the
the
3rd
3rd year.
Oh, 3rd year was good.
Third year was on my old account that got stolen, so I don't even remember. But yeah, 4th year is actually when I started the account that I'm playing on.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't say I wailed on that one, but I re-rolled accounts like a mother to get the units that I wanted. And I knew I was coming back. I knew the anniversary was the best time to come back, and I knew the best way to do it was to re-roll. So I did account re-rolls until I got at least 1 copy of every LR that was in the banners and ended up with a rainbow with the G dot of the deal. So I'm not going to argue with it.
There you go.
I agree. So,
Alright.
yeah, that
sense.
kind of wraps up everything, to be honest.
Q&A. Q&A. Q&A.
So yeah, we did plan this. We didn't really get to do it last time, but we are gonna hold, like they said, a Q&A. So if anyone in the chat right now has any questions that you want to ask, I don't really know how long we'll be answering questions for, but if anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask the chat or the panelists, please ask now, or forever hold your peace.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Discord, if you don't have the Discord, hold on, I'll link 2 seconds.
I was just say I linked it earlier. I'm trying to scroll up and find it.
JMO, you good? I just see Levi posting that constantly. And it's the freaking laughing dude. It makes me laugh.
The link for the Discord right there, guys. If you post your questions in Discord,
Yeah, Variety I did.
or if you're
And you
posting
guys-
here.
If you guys post questions in Discord at any time during the week, we will get to them on the next episode.
Yeah.
So you can post those questions at any time you want, and we'll answer the Discord questions during the Q&A section, and also your guys' questions.
Why is
Mhm.
Global always fucking shafted? We're not. Honestly, we get a lot more stuff than JP does. Like,
Actually, I would like to answer that question with a question, if you guys don't mind.
Okay,
sure,
here we go.
How is Global shafted?
you can't answer that because we're not. like,
Like,
like in my personal opinion, like JP gets more shaft than we do. Um, only because the fact that they don't get tickets on their summons. They rarely get the buy three get one free. When like Global gets a exclusive unit, it usually dominates for the category that it's in. You know, Tech Hit may not have aged very well, but at the time when he first came out, it was a beast. Same with SSB Kaioken Goku. Um, but right now, I honestly think if anyone gets more of the shaft, it's JP, which is surprising. You wouldn't say that like last year.
so in chat, it was brought up the top grossing for Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. Top grossing has never been promised, ever. Unless they flat out say at the beginning of a celebration, if you hit this mark, you will get these rewards. So like in some celebrations, they came out and said if you can hit top grossing in 7 countries, you get 50 stones. Whatever the case was. But so I don't look at us not getting top grossing for Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken as a shaft, because it's not something that's ever been guaranteed. We hit top grossing during the Dragon Ball Heroes banner back in November of last year. Didn't get top grossing rewards for that either. I
Mhm.
mean, it's not something that they promise us every single time.
That is true.
Yeah.
You know,
Very-
yes, they've set a precedent, and in fact, when we get top grossing, we usually get more top grossing stones than we should, because it used to be you would only get 7 stones per country that hit it in both stores. We've been getting 20, 30, 40, 50 stones from France for a year and a half. Like, seriously.
Yeah, France has been carrying us.
Yeah, like if anything, France should get stones and everybody else should just accept the fact that the game exists.
Mm-hmm. Um, does anybody else have anything to add to that, real quick?
Nah, Global's fantastic. JP sucks. Moving on.
See, I wouldn't even go so far as saying JP sucks. They're different environments. Okay, JP's like a beta test. You know, all the things that go
Yeah.
on in JP. This is why JP got that 300 stone compensation. Okay, there was an issue with a banner. I don't know the exact details, but it was an issue that wasn't duplicated on Global because it was fixed when it happened on JP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's why they got those 300 zones. Also, not a global shaft because we never had the issue happen here.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh,
so
I agree.
that's really what it comes down to. I mean, people who say that we have a global shaft, I'm not going to discount that you feel that way. You may feel like JP has advantages over us, but I really don't believe there is such a thing as global shaft. In fact, I think global has it better than JP 99% of the time.
Facts.
Agreed. Tyrenda asks, is World Tournament ever going to get a revamp? Honestly,
Please.
with this day and age of how Dokkan is and how they're doing stuff, I wouldn't put it past them to actually put some consideration into a revamp.
I agree.
So,
I feel like eventually World Tournament's gonna have the ability to be revamped somewhere down the line. The only thing is they got a lot of fixing up to do with World Tournament first, because it does have a lot of issues, in my opinion. Like the way it's played out and just everything else. Like it's only really good for the rewards at this point for most players, anyways. And it's like one of those few modes that I think a lot of the community can honestly say that they only do it for the sake of the rewards. And I feel like it takes away from how world tournaments were when they first came out. But do I see them like there are so many other concept ways of people saying that world tournaments could become better. Like there's so many people who've gone above and beyond to have their ideas put out there, like, oh, world tournament would be so much better if they included X, Y, and Z factors into it. And I do feel like down the line they can do more with it. I just feel like for the current meta, the current standpoint of the game, it's almost just not at a point where it needs to be changed, other than the fact that we only do it for the rewards, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was a good question, Tyrenda. I like that question.
Yeah, it's one of those things that a lot of streamers and Dokkan tubers have been talking about. You know, especially lately. Like you'll see the Truth or Tiger or any of them. Like whenever the question gets brought up, they're like, "Man, I just wish that they would just revamp it." And like I said, in this day and age, with Dokkan putting out so much stuff, changing stuff up, it's probably going to happen sooner rather than later. So.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they don't make it real PvP.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
no,
As
I
long-
agree.
As
I
long
don't
as
want
real
that.
PvP never touches Dokkan.
Yep, I agree.
That will be the thing that destroys the game, because you already have people talking about whales and how, oh, whales doing their rainbow showcases ruin the game, and they put this stigma on the community that everyone has to summon. But see, the thing is, if you put PvP into this game, those whales are going to dominate.
Yeah.
Those whales are
Mhm.
going to wreck, and no one will have fun playing the game. Look at
Yep.
Legend.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
agree,
Legends
100%.
is no fun.
And yes, Kit Kat, I do still meme the hell out of the 300 stone compensation, because I know it's not a global shaft, so I just find it funny to keep breaking it up.
Yeah, I guess I just gotta throw out. People in the chat are blowing their fucking minds about this whole global shaft thing. I've been
I knew
I've
this was
literally-
going to happen.
all I've played is global. I've dibbled in JP for like 5 seconds on my computer, and obviously I can't read JP, so that kind of sucks. But anyways, that's all I've played for a year now, and I love it. Like, I don't get why everyone is so mad. Why everybody hates global so much. Wow, the global shaft, the global shaft. Like, dude, I've never felt in my entire life that I've been shafted. Ever.
I don't either, honestly.
All I feel is just this game is, I don't know. I get stones like they're fucking candy, dude. Like, they just give them to me. Like I'm James Woods, and I'm like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. That's This game is nothing but generous.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It really is one of the most free-to-play friendly mobile games in existence.
Yeah.
You know, but here's I guess kind of piggybacking off of what you said there, Trevor, about the ooh piece of candy. I mean, I do kind of feel that way. Like every time I open Dokkan and something new is coming, it's like ooh piece of candy. Even though I know 6 months ago JP got it, because it's given me 6 months of hype to think about team builds, to think about what I want to use this character, to think about if I want this character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't spend money on mobile games, and I can guarantee you I've averaged over $1,000 a year on Dokkan.
Easy. Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when my last account was stolen at the end of 2018, I had that account for 3.5 years, and I know we memed this the last week, and I didn't really say the number, but it was over $5,000 in 3.5 years. So
Zafe is stressing the
So
mistakes from global, and I'm like, what mistakes on global? Can you name something?
here's the thing, and this is what I'm gonna point out, because that comment makes no sense compared to what actually happened. The 300 mil, or not, sorry, not the 300 mil, sorry. The 300 stones that JP got was a ratio thing that got messed up, and because of that, a lot of people, when they got top grossing, they spent a lot of stones to get those units, and they didn't fucking get them. That's the reason why they got the 300 stone refund, because so many of them had put an average of 300 stones into that banner, and because of that, they refunded it. The mistakes that Global has had are very minor. We have not seen a ratio mistake when it comes to drops. We have not seen anything along the lines of, besides maybe the Gogeta and Omega Shenron being released with no leader skill. And they compensated us for that. They did. That's the difference. When you mess with the gotcha ratio, you're literally stealing money. That's the difference between JP and Global. there is no shaft because we didn't have to deal with that on global. I actually feel bad for the JP players having to go through that and the stress that they had to go through because they got robbed. So
Yeah, exactly.
there's a major,
Okay.
major difference.
The other reason JP gets better, they get better top grossing rewards. I'm not going to argue that. That is true. They get better top grossing rewards because they'll get 100 stones for hitting top grossing in both stores, whereas we'll get 50 for multiple countries hitting it in 1 or 2 stores. I mean, kind of they've been really lax with our top grossing and how they quantify why we get it. They've been really lax in that in our benefit. But anyway, the reason why JP gets better compensation is because they're 63% of the income of the game.
Yeah.
One country, tiny little Japan,
Oh, yeah.
63% of all income for this game.
Yep.
They are more important financially to this game than anybody else in the world. America's number 2, by the way.
Which is weird because you would think France would be there.
Well, France hits top grossing in their country. That just means that there's a bunch of apps that aren't nearly as popular as Dokkan in that country. The number of people who play, the number of people who pay, the amount of money that comes out, your number 1 is Japan, your number 2 is America.
Yeah. So Besaid specifically, I can't say anything about anything. No one. He's not really mad or upset about the fact that we get less for stones from top compensation. He's talking about compensation for actual in-game events that he's done, and doesn't owe you shit for that. That's all. I just got to say my 2 cents. Just because you try-harded World Tournament one year doesn't mean you deserve fucking anything, right? Those people are fucking tryhards, and that's your fucking tryhard. That's your thing. Hey, I was first in World Tournament one time. Okay, cool. Good for fucking you. They give you a lot of shit. They give you full rainbowed of that unit. I get 1 copy. You get a rainbow, and I can never get a rainbow now. Ever. Until it comes back. There's no way for me to do that. You got it. That's your fucking compensation. You know
Not
what I
only
mean?
that, but I don't know how people are spending 200 stones on World Tournament. That's legitimately impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're spending 24
Stamina.
hours a day, all 3 to 4 days to do
Well,
it.
think about the people who get into the 300, 400, 500, 600 wins in a 3-day period. All right, the World Tournament encourages people to share accounts. It encourages people to team to get things done. I agree that the World Tournament needs to be revamped, and I agree there are a lot of things that are wrong with it. But really, the thing that's the most wrong with the World Tournament is the players.
Yep. I agree.
Because there's a little bit of a reward. Now, don't get me wrong, the orbs are for help. You can get a butt ton of orbs. But they invest so much into that one weekend. I mean, that it literally makes your casual player not be able to do anything.
Exactly.
The problem with the World Tournament is the reward structure, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, which is just World Tournament in general, not global specifically. It's just World Tournament. JP has to deal with that same thing. You can't say global shaft because World Tournament exists.
In all honesty, that's the truth because JP has the same exact rewards for whoever ranks. And that's just how it is. You rank higher, you get more rewards. To me, like, I can semi-understand maybe buffing the rewards, but in all honesty, like, it's not that bad. Like, could it be a little better? Yes. But anything could be better.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I grinded this last World Tournament was the first time I actually gave a shit because I normally don't because the grind is stupid. But I really just sat down and it took like 2 or 3 days, or I guess it's only on the weekend, so I guess it took me like 2 days. And I got my 25 million points or whatever it was to get my unit, which has nothing to do with anybody else, right? I just need to get mine to get my unit, and that's what I got.
Right.
Was I worried about rank so I can get the extra copies or? No, because someone else is going to get that. There's no way that I can outgrind some tryhard. Way. So, am I mad at Dokkan for that? No. Of course I'm not. It's not Dokkan's fault.
I've made it to the top 100 in the World Tournament. All right, and
As have I.
I made it. I made it to the top 100 one world tournament and the top 1,000. Okay. The amount of my life that I gave up for those weekends just to get to those points is not really worth it to me.
No, it's not at all.
You know, am I gonna do it again? You bet your sweet ass I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna stream the shit out of it
Exactly.
because
Right.
people watch it. Yeah, it's boring as shit. It is so boring to go through and grind that world tournament. But from our perspective, you guys watch it.
True. That is true.
You guys are interested enough to come in and chat with us while we're doing what is potentially the most boring thing in the game.
Oh yeah. Easy.
If
So-
only we average that when we're doing actual events, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if I got the viewership, you know, Wednesday through Friday that I get, you know, every 6 weeks or 8 weeks that I do the world tournament, I don't know if I'd have made this podcast because none of us would need the help. None of us would need the boost from each other. I mean, I'm glad I made this podcast because these are 3 of the best people I've ever met. Like, I have so much fun with these guys, you know. But the real reason the podcast exists is to promote us, other Twitch streamers, the game as a whole.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree.
You know.
Yeah.
And also, I like Tyrenda's other question, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like going on about content. Like when streamers are doing content, most of the time people are coming to watch the people, you know, and how they're doing it. And take my streams for example. When every time I've done the world tournament grind, people come in and they're like, "Hey, I'm grinding too. I just want somebody to talk to while I grind." And it's like, "Fuck yeah, let's go." You know, I dig that most of anything. Do I think the world tournament needs a revamp? Absolutely, and that would be my top pick for something that needs a revamp.
I agree.
But at the same time, with how the world tournament is, it's literally brain dead, and you can talk to everybody while you do it. I can literally sit there and hold a full-on conversation. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a lot different. But yeah, Tyrenda
let's-
for... go ahead, Alec. Or Trevor, excuse me.
Well, I was gonna kind of piggyback on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
We like everybody know. I'm guessing. I mean, I'm not gonna speak for half these people in this chat I've never seen before. But a lot of people who come to my stream, you guys know that you're not coming to watch Dokkan
Mm-hmm.
because I suck literal balls at Dokkan. The worst. I am not good at all. I make the dumbest teams that don't work ever, and I try to do the dumbest shit with them. But I think that I'm pretty interesting. I think I'm pretty funny, and that's why. And I interact with my chat, so that's why people come in. Not because it's really to watch Dokkan. Y'all could watch you guys for Dokkan content. Like I ain't good, right? But,
Sorry, I'm not good either.
yeah. So, that's
So
kind of
basically, I'm just backwards with all you guys. You guys are streaming Dokkan, not to stream Dokkan, but to engage. And I'm streaming Dokkan because I think people want to watch it.
I do it for both, actually, to be honest. I do it for a big portion of my community, but I also do it because I have a very genuine love for the game.
Oh, dude, me too. Yeah, for real.
But yeah, no, Tyrenda, one event I would like to see revamped 100%, and I say it all the time, even though I don't think it's ever going to get a revamp that I want, would definitely be the Heroes Extermination plan, and they plan to eradicate the Saiyans. Because, one, I wish Hachiak had a better drop rate, because I am one who loves to get free-to-play cards, and I feel like the farm for the Strength Turles and, like, for a lot of those units that awaken from that is literally just some of the worst fucking drop rates you can ever get. And I honestly feel like events like that, like I think they added something to the event not too long ago, like before it became as many as it was. Isn't there like 21 stages? And at one point it was like 18 or 19, I think. And then they added 2 more onto it, but they didn't even like make it worth farming at that point. And you only farm it for medals for like certain units, but like I wish that the medal drop rate was better. Like they should at least
Man.
in my opinion, and it goes to say like this could be any event that's out right now that doesn't have this. Like none of those events have the boost setup that Global or Dokkan in general is already in, you know? So like those events don't have any boost stats, they don't have categories or things like that. Like if they had it set to where each specific event had a different category per stage that you play on throughout the Plants of Eradicate the Saiyans, it would be a lot better because at least it would guarantee you the drop rates for other units that you have. And I feel like right now that event just doesn't have that. And there's other older events similar to that too. But that's one of the big events that I always had a pet peeve about.
Yeah, like if you buff that event, Great Saiyaman is a million times easier to farm, and like would make me want to rainbow him because I'm sitting at the point where I'm like, no.
And it's not even that; it's even other summonable units that you get that awaken from those.
Well, yeah,
that
the Super Saiyan 2 Goku's and
the Goku, the
Piccolo about to
Interlist.
get an EZA, and I don't want to awaken him because of that. He only needs 7 medals, but I know it's going to be 3 or 4
Yeah,
hours.
it's like 3 or 4 hours and like 80 stamina bars later.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, do I want to dump 15 stones in my probably in stamina to try to get this stupid dude in the next 2 days? I don't know if I have time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that the weekend events, both of them, they need to be something needs to be done with them for sure. But really, I think what the game needs is not as much necessarily a revamp of events as much as it is that we need the events available more often, and we
That's
need
who.
Quest updated.
Yes, please.
You know,
Quest is definitely a
nobody,
must.
Nobody plays the game for the story, I know, but I'd like to see how it ends. Damn it!
Give us our final closure to a chapter that doesn't even exist in an anime form.
Yeah.
But I think it would be cool, honestly. Like, it definitely does need a revamp. I'm not gonna lie. Like, quest mode needs added quests. Needs maybe a different LR as well in it. Like, how we farm LR Vegito Blue. Like, I feel like maybe they could do something with that, too. Instead of just saying, oh, you know, here, you can have a TUR of LR Vegito Blue, and then, you know, farm Incredible Gems. Like, if they gave us more things to farm with Incredible Gems, minus what we have in the shop already, because I think people at this point forgot about, like, the other 3 units that we had. There was, like, an Android 13 in there. There was, like, you have the 777 Tech Vegeta at one point. You had the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Like, a lot of those units you don't see anybody giving a shit about anymore.
Yeah.
I think,
And- Go ahead.
like to, sorry, I just wanted to reach out to a question that was in chat. What's so special about World Tournament? Literally, the only thing special about World Tournament is the rewards. The higher you place, you get a butt ton of hidden potential orbs, and that's the only reason people do it. They do it for the orbs, they do it for the units, and they do it for Dragon Stones.
I agree.
But you spend more Dragon Stones getting to that top rank than you get from getting top rank. So
Exactly.
you know.
That's if you're going for top 100. Usually
Yeah.
I keep myself at like top 1000, and I don't spend that much stones. And you get enough units to be happy with, you know, whatever. So, they also had another question too, which
Next
is
World
pretty,
Tournament unit.
pretty awesome. Next World Tournament unit, and I am all with Trevor on this. It has to be Krillin. Krillin needs an LR.
How
It needs to happen.
does frickin' Yamcha have an LR before frickin' Krillin?
Yep. I mean, it makes Piccolo's his LR's World Tournament, isn't it?
Piccolo.
Yeah,
Yamcha,
there's an LR
and
Piccolo.
Tien are all.
And Tien are all World Tournament. So
Yeah.
Krillin, he's the last Z fighter that needs an LR, and that's got to be for World Tournament.
Exactly.
When
You guys know that the next World Tournament LR is not going to be Krillin, right? They got to squeeze the most important Z fighter in. Because you know we're going to get a frickin' LR Yajirobe before we get an LR Krillin.
Dude, let's go!
My super attack's gotta be. I gotta get Sensu beats from Corn.
That would be amazing.
So
I mean, Snipe, let's be real. Every World Tournament LR is dog shit. None of them are good. I mean, Yamcha physically lowers his own stats when fighting an enemy. That's pretty bad.
Big Daddy.
Do you think it's going to be time for a new rarity? Not at all. Not at all.
No.
Never.
No,
Never.
God, no.
The last thing this
No
game
way.
needs is a new rarity. We have less than 100 summonable LRs right.
I mean, let's be real. Power creep is an actual danger to games like this who have been around for a long time. Power creep can be really, really hard. And you add another rarity above LR, it basically would make all LRs like they're TERs, and then TERs would be URs, which no one cares about anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know what I mean? Like it's just gonna slightly make everything less important, and
I agree.
like all the units that everybody has are gonna suck.
Think of it this way, like right now, like yeah, Legends is still doing decent, but if you look at the player base, like it is shrunk because every couple months they add something to the leveling system that you have to do again, and it's just like it went from when I first started 1500 when the game first came out, and then it got raised to 3000, and now it's up to 5000 level for each character, plus a hidden potential esque type of thing to get the stats up even more.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but the grind to get those units up to 7-star is ridiculous. So if that doesn't show you what a game with constant leveling boosts does,
Exactly.
I don't know what a good example is going to be for you.
I really think the only thing Dokkan has done wrong provide.
You kind of
Like,
skipped out.
Yeah,
there for a
you
second.
skipped out the entire
I said
ending
the
of
only,
that.
the only thing that Dokkan really hasn't done correctly is offer enough content.
I
like-
agree.
Like we have all these events that cycle in and out. I understand we have the keys and whatnot, but that's a limited resource. Like a lot of these events, like especially from the first 2 or 3 years, should just be available.
I agree.
Yeah.
Truth.
You know? And
I mean, they could do what they did with this Trunks event, or a future Gohan event, whatever you want to call it, where they, because like I already did it before, right? I'm sure all you guys have too, but they redid it where you get all the rewards back again.
yeah, and they've done that
Which-
for several in the past. Like
they
they've
should do that.
done what they redid the Bojack and Gohan event, I think, and we got stones back from that. At one point, I think when they added the new stages to the weekend events, I think they changed those. I think there was a minor change to the back and get stones for that. They've done it a couple of times. The best thing ever, just reset my damn quest.
I agree. I
Let me
agree
get
totally.
those. Let me get those few thousand stones again.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
man, what a dream.
It would make more people, especially like at the level that we all play at. I'm speaking more so on the panel, and maybe some of the viewers in chat actually have something else to do again, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm again gonna address chat. I don't think saying that Legends needs to catch up to Dokkan is exactly the best way to look at it.
Nope.
Legends needs to do what is best for Legends.
And
And
Dokkan needs to do
Legends
what is
came
best for
out
Dokkan.
strong. Great animations, fun gameplay.
Oh yeah. Art's
Gameplay.
fantastic.
I love playing Legends. I do. It's way more fun to play than Dokkan. But the biggest nail in the coffin for Legends was when they decided to make it a PvP focused game.
Mm-hmm.
Because you literally have your free-to-play have-nots versus your whales and your haves. It's a game of class warfare.
Yeah.
Yep.
The guys who could spend the most money getting the most units will win.
Yeah.
No ifs, no ands, no buts. You know, like, you know, it's not me shitting on Legends. It's just facts. Like their leveling system is ridiculously like unbalanced, in my personal opinion. And the fact that you have whales in there and it's a PvP game, you're already screwed. You might as well just be free to play, and even then, like, there's not enough content in Legends to gratify yourself with free to play stuff. You know, so really, it's for most people just a dead game.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot of people playing, and it still gets a lot of people in the little like seasons and stuff. But in all actuality, Legends is probably gonna not be around as long as Dokkan's gonna be.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it. 100%.
I think we have time for one
There's nothing
more
wrong with
question.
being a non-fan of Legends, though, Variety. A lot of people don't like Legends, to be honest. I'm one who really doesn't care much for the game either.
Yeah.
And like I said, I like the gameplay. I just don't like the business model.
I don't either. I think it's a weird
And
setup.
It's really what it comes down to. Like, yeah, they give you a lot. It doesn't really help people. Like, at least in Dokkan, if you decide you're gonna go strictly free to play, you're never gonna spend a single stone on a banner. Literally, never spend a stone on a banner. You're
Yep.
gonna go full J Fanta.
Yeah.
Hey, Jay
can do that
Fanta's
in Legends.
profiting quite well from his free to play.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
He's doing
Josh
fine.
is doing.
Oh, I
doing
cry every
fantastic.
time he bobas LRs, especially
Yeah,
ones
man.
I don't have. When he bobbed Strength Broly, I about died.
I don't even have straight probably.
I have never, in all of the time that I've played this game, almost 5 years, 4.5 years now that I've played this game, and the multiple accounts, JP and Global, I have never once pulled Strength Broly.
It's alright.
Yikes. That's a big yikes. I can give you my 2 spares, man. Mine's rainbowed and I have
Please?
2 sitting in my
Give
box
him
doing
one.
That's
nothing.
what the game needs. That's what the game needs. Trading.
Give him one and give me one because in the long time I've been playing this game, I still have yet to pull STR. Broly.
Sure, Snipes, if you have one more question, we'd like to hear it.
Yeah, I'd say we have time for the last question. And
Yeah, I gotta get to being an adult here soon.
Also, just to be fair, someone also did ask earlier, why did Yamcha and Hercule get a LR card before Krillin? It's because secretly, this is gonna trigger Alec, but secretly Hercule is best dad.
I'd let him be in the running. I'd totally let him be in the running. He totally is.
Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this now. Hercule is like the worst parent, if you ask me. He forces his ideals on Videl too hard. Like, he's trying to live through Videl because he knows that he is not the best martial artist. He knows that. He's kind of accepted that fact.
No, of
So
course.
he tries to make Videl that. So
Videl's
Videl turns into this fucking hardcore fucking tomboy because that's what her dad makes her be. You know?
Well, also
Who
keep in
knows
mind
someone kind of Videl?
that Hercule Mark Satan, I guess is his real name, Mark Satan. Anyway, Mr. Satan, he really was working at a disadvantage. Single dad.
Mm-hmm.
Mom died
I mean,
somewhere
yeah,
early in Videl's childhood. He did the best with what he could. I know a million girls in my life that were raised by their dads and they end up being tomboys. That doesn't mean that their dads were bad. It's
No.
just that they didn't know how to do any better for a girl.
I guess that's true.
But he definitely played his part. He definitely played his part. He may have lied a lot about his life, but still, he
Right.
does what he can to provide. I mean,
If Videl was Victor, would you be having that same thought?
Victor?
Like if Videl was a dude, like if Videl
Oh.
wasn't a girl, and if Videl was a dude, and still being
Not
lived
same.
through vicariously by Hercule, would you still have that same thought?
Yeah, same. I don't like parents who do that to their in general.
yeah, no, I
Let
agree.
the kids be- let the kids be
Don't
their
make
own.
her. Yeah, don't make your kid a martial artist just because you were.
Yeah,
don't make your
no,
kid
no,
a
no.
fantastic baseball player because you want to be couldn't. Whatever.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah,
My dad liked the
Yamcha.
Beatles. I like the Beatles, so I think that some of that stuff is just kind of learned.
Some of it does rub off.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying. Don't because it was always in these shows and stuff like. I mean,
Right.
My
I mean,
parents were like
we
that.
honestly don't get enough legitimate time with these characters to say who is a best dad and who is not a best dad.
Yeah.
But I think Goku gets a lot of hate because he was just dealing with the best he could. Sure, yeah. I mean, choosing to stay dead was arguably a bad dad move, but he honestly believed at the time that the dangers that were coming to Earth were because of him. So he made that choice to protect his family and the entire planet. I don't think that makes him a bad dad per se.
I don't either, to be honest.
Yeah. Vegeta best dad.
I'm, like seriously,
Just
I
neglects the
really
shit out of
think
Trunks' best dad.
Like Vegeta has the best character of any character in the entire franchise.
He's got the best character.
Oh yeah.
And Krillin flies under the radar. Like, and I know at this point we're gonna start memeing the I think his best dad, but seriously, never gets into a fight with his wife, never leaves his kid, never drags his kid into battle, had a job. No one had to tell him to get a job. He went out and became a cop. I mean,
Mhm.
Krillin's out here taking care of business and getting ignored for it.
True.
True.
Yeah.
But
I
fuck
think.
that. Moving on.
Oh wow.
Why do we think they added the Ginyu Force SBR instead of something like movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that's actually what I was gonna bring up because I think that's actually a wonderful question.
I think for two reasons. One, they went through all that effort of putting out the Ginyu Force, and they were really only used for in battles, and now they bonuses
Yeah.
to Prime Battle, so they're not that good for Prime Battles anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And two, to give you a free-to-play option to get Goku and Bulma.
Agreed. I
Wait,
think
so hold on. That SBR gets you Goku and Bulma?
Yeah, if you complete Ginyu Force SBR 20 times, you get a copy of Goku and Bulma.
Oh,
If you complete any of
look at
those stages 21 to 30.
yeah.
Mhm.
And honestly,
But
if you get
Ginyu
the
Force is the fully free-to-play one.
Yeah.
yeah, and if you get the LR, Tech Ginyu Force, Goku Ginyu Force,
Mm-hmm.
and the LR physical Ginyu, it just becomes that much easier.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's Ginyu Force is mainly free to play. Like 80% of the units in that thing is free to play. The only ones that aren't super free to play, like you earn them through an event and they drop,
Right.
are the LRs, which are still technically free to play because you could just go through Battlefield and rainbowing LR Prime Frieza, and the SRs that nobody cares about.
I agree.
Yeah.
So with
yeah.
that, I think that wraps up the questions at least.
I mean,
Yeah, just
Ginyu
to,
Force
just to
EZA?
give a little last insight on that Ginyu Force
Mhm.
SBR. I think eventually you're going to see every category, at least every significant category, get an SBR. And it'll be funny if they ever do decide to do Namekian as an SBR because they're going to have to get some more.
Oh man.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But so I don't think we'll see a Namekians. I don't think we'll see a world tournament as a super battle road unless they really start to do things to really bump up those categories. So I think if we see a 120% world tournament lead show up in the next few months, that's a good indicator that eventually we'll have a world tournament SBR. So
I hope not.
Yeah.
We'll
And-
get more podcasts. Hey, we do a podcast every week on Tuesday.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Same time, different place.
Yep. So
Exactly.
next week it's Tystra.
Yes, sir. That's
Yep,
me.
Tystra is
It's your
hosting.
dude.
So we will be at Tystra. So if we want to give a shout out to Tystra, so that way people can follow him to make sure they're here for next week.
Yep.
Heck yeah. I like how it's so great. I love it when the people come in toxic and I just show them nothing but love. Love you too, Jin Farke.
But yeah, and then if you guys came into this part way through today and you missed it, it will be uploaded on the Gang Podcast YouTube, which of course I need to
Yes, that is true.
announce one second. And that'll be loaded up tomorrow by noon. As soon as Chrome, really? You gonna freeze up on me? There we go.
Yeah.
Global Gang Podcast.
Thank you, Alec.
The YouTube.
That's the archive. That's the YouTube archive right there. If you guys missed there as well. And like I said, yeah, we do give those, or we do upload those archives by noon the day every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so we calling it a day.
Yeah, I think it
Eventually.
is a good time to call
Okay.
it.
Eventually,
I think
we
we
will
should,
figure out how to end one of these without it
I think
being
we should-
shit.
I think we should rate our boy Test. He's been in
Yeah,
he's been in
yeah.
there. He's
I
streaming. Dokkan.
agree.
Oh
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. Throw it to
Put
Test.
Put it on.
Because Test was actually he put the podcast on his stream and kept his audio down. So massive shout out to Testo Ball.
Yeah,
Dude,
definitely.
that's awesome.
Fantastic, dude.
But yeah, guys.
Yeah.
So also before we cut before we cut as well, are there any special announcements from the rest of the panels? Are you guys doing anything crazy for the next couple of weeks over the course of Dokkan, or what's going on?
For me personally, I'm doing the 7-unit stream tomorrow, and then depending on how many tech orbs I have, I might try to play legendary Go. Because I think I can do it.
Trevor?
I have 2 YouTube videos coming out. One this week, one next week, and those. Hold on, I'm typing to. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, I got 2 YouTube. One I just made today, actually. Full Majibu team, go check that out when you can. Next video for next week will be Supreme. Well, today Supreme Kai coming out next week, full Kai video, and then today I'll be doing a full Android 16, 17, 18 team as well. So check that out if you think that would be interesting. That's about it. Stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Tip your mods.
Your mods.
Tip your mods.
Tystra?
So tonight I am going to be working with a community that I go with, United Extreme Gaming on Xbox. We're going to be playing some NCC to do some recruitment for the community. So if you guys have Xbox, would love to play some MCC with us, you're more than welcome to join. And later on in the week, I'm going to be streaming Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, some Dokkan Battle, some Destiny 2, and other stuff.
Hype.
And maybe a video or two on YouTube, depending on if the video gets edited in time.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that video, Ty? That's actually a really good idea.
All I'm going to say to give a hint off of it is hashtag Save the Unit Foundation.
Hashtag save me. All right.
And for me, literally, I have nothing going on other than my streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I will be streaming tomorrow, maybe some more JP stuff. If not, then we'll go back over to Global for sure. But I think we're going to stick on JP for a little bit, give you guys some more content over there since I haven't really been playing JP. And that's pretty much it for me, guys. You already know my schedule if you guys have tuned into the channel. I also want to give a quick shout out before I even end the video in general. Since this is being streamed over to my channel, I just want to say Games of My Life, Logic Gamer, New LR Gohan Luck, Katana Angel, and Mr. Banana. Thank you guys so much for the fucking follows today. You're absolutely all phenomenal people. Thank you for everyone who hosted. Thank you for the bits today. I know someone did send bits as well. But really, guys, thank you so much just for being a part of the podcast. Big shout outs again to Alec for even making this podcast what it is today. I had so much fucking fun hosting it. I know Tystra and Trevor are going to have fun hosting theirs as well when the time comes. And just look forward to that, guys. I'm always the one who likes to look forward to the future, so hopefully you guys are as well. Hopefully you guys can share more memories with myself, with Trevor, Alec, and all these guys in the panel, and also these wonderful people in fucking chat. You guys have really made this podcast one of the greatest that we've had so far, and we've only done 2, so you guys have been amazing. Thank you for all the mods as well.
Yeah.
Pretty much, but thank you mods really also for being there for the stream as well. I know Trevor mentioned that as well, but I have to give a personal shout out to the mods as well who really helped keep the chat in order today. Thank you for doing your parts. Thank you for those viewers who've been in here doing their part, sitting with us for the last 3 hours. You guys really don't understand what that means to every one of us. And I think now is the proper time to say that while we are ending this, we are going to bring you guys over to Test, who is also currently streaming Dokkan Battle. Like they said, guys, he's been literally streaming the entire broadcast for as long as he's been live. Go check him out. If you do join in on the raid, that is 250 free channel points into my stream as well. So if you want extra channel points for whatever fucking reason you want, there it is right there. Just join in on the raid, and we're gonna go give some love to our more we're gonna show love to some of our other Dokkan streamers out there in the community. But thank you guys so much. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast. We will be doing this again next week on the 11th. So this will be over on Tystra's channel. Again, go check him out. He is in the chat, so go give him a follow. Go give him whatever it is you want. Love. Subscribe to his freaking Twitch. Give him all the support. And I love you guys so much. This is Anthony JMO, Alec, Trevor, and Tystra signing off, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesdays, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
Peace, guys.
Later, guys.